The Monterey Peninsula is home to the world-famous Pebble Beach Golf Course. Its 17-mile drive, Big Sur, and Carmel by the Sea. There is nothing quite like California's Central Coast. And carved into its breathtaking landscape is one of the greatest racetracks on the planet, WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca and its iconic corkscrew. Today, this is where the NTT IndyCar Series finale plays out and will celebrate a champion. Welcome to IndyCar Live, presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Oh, it's a stereotypical blue sky California day to end this 2023 NTT IndyCar Series. It could not be any better. Hi folks, welcome. Lee Diffie along with Townsend Bell and James Hinchcliffe. We're excited to put a period on this season in a spectacular way. And what they are driving for, like they do each and every year, is this beautiful Astor Challenge Cup. And to have their name engraved on it, this is more than 100 years old. And if you were watching last week, you know that Chip Ganassi Racing's Alex Palou has already sealed the deal. He is the champion, so his name will be on there twice, which is quite the accomplishment. But there is still a lot on the line today. There's a lot of pride, Townsend, on the line. And I know for you, being a California kid, being here is super special.
It is incredible. What a perfect Central Coast of California day. I grew up about 2 hours south of here in San Luis Obispo, and I came right here to the Skip Barber Racing School 28 years ago. Little did I know back then, when I took a sabbatical from university, that this would become my future. And it's home to the world famous corkscrew, so many great race fans, and this year, this incredible new pavement that has really ramped up the speeds.
Hinch, you love it too.
I mean, it's hard not to. I think it's one of the most iconic racetracks in the world. Any kid that's ever played a racing game, this is the very first track you go to, Laguna Seca. Most kids have done more laps on it on a PlayStation than the drivers have here this weekend, and I'm no different. I was the same way as a kid, but it's not just the idyllic racetrack from the outside. When you look deeper, it is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Townsend mentioned the repave. It's made it wicked fast, but it's also made the window for grip very, very narrow. We've seen so many drivers going off all over the racetrack. It's going to be a challenge today.
It is Velcro on the racing line and ice off it, and that's exactly what makes it so tricky. As so many cars, like Will Power here, the Verizon car, gets it wrong at the entrance of the corkscrew. This was Colton Herta going wide off in the final corner. So many ways to get it wrong, so much temptation to go big when you're on that brand new grippy surface.
And maybe it's appropriate that the newly crowned champion is also the defending race winner here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. That's Alex Palou. He will never forget his entry into the NTT IndyCar Series because it was the year that the pandemic gripped and changed the world in 2020. He made a quick impact. The following year, he was a champion. And here we are, standing here late in the summer of 2023. He's now a two-time champ. What a year it's been.
I cannot wait to hear Hello Palou in 2023.
Alex Palou wins the GMR Grand Prix at Indy.
Yes! Good job, boys!
All right, Alex, so you ready to go really fast?
I'm so ready. We can get these poles.
Who gets the pole for the Indianapolis 500? It's Alex Palou! From pole to victory lane, the Motor City says hello, hello.
Yeah, boys! What a team. Woo!
Back-to-back races, Alex is a winner again.
Let's go! Woo!
Hello, Palou. Alex extends his championship lead and wins here at Mid-Ohio. Dominant with a capital D.
Yes! 3 in a row! What an amazing season.
Hello, Palou, a champion again.
Yes! Woo!
Race winner and IndyCar champion. Nice job, buddy.
I love that. Thank you all so much.
And on championship finale weekend, let's say hello, Palou, to the man himself.
Oh,
hey,
hello.
Alex.
How are we doing?
Hey, listen, it's not us just saying it, it's your peers saying it. You have been in a league and a class of your own this year. Have you surprised even yourself with your performance?
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't feel like that when we're inside the car and when we're driving and having those issues with pit stops and just not having the pace, but it's been an amazing year. Just all the results we had, 5 wins, and hopefully we can get another one today.
Alex, you were very talented when you first showed up in IndyCar, but now you're several years in, you won the 2 championships. Tell us where you think you've improved the most. What's one thing that you've really improved on since coming in as a rookie?
I would say everything, man. Honestly, it's been I've been super lucky to share teams with Scott Dixon. You can learn everything about this guy, just mental, how he prepares the races, how he saves fuel or even makes fuel during the races, as we saw this year again. But honestly, I would say in general, I just feel a lot better with the car, but also how to handle the races. It's really tough, so learn a lot about him.
You know, it's funny, we were watching this clip of you. I saw the smile on your face as we're reliving all these highlights from the season. Now you come here, you clinched it last week out in Portland. Do you come to Laguna a little bit freer? Do you approach the weekend any different? Are you less stressed, more relaxed?
Well, a bit more relaxed, obviously. I don't need to worry about points and all that stuff, which it's always a bit nerve-wracking, especially at the starts. But still, it's a race, man, and we want to win it. We know we have a car that is capable and a team that is capable, and everybody wants us to win. I mean, in the team, everybody's pushing, so there's still that pressure to win the race.
Your race car looks amazing this weekend with the chrome livery, but you proudly are an ambassador for the American Legion. This goes, I want to share a story with the viewers at home. This goes well beyond a sponsorship or a partnership, doesn't it? Particularly this year at St. Petersburg at the season opener.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm super proud and privileged to be racing for a cause, especially outside the track with the American Legion and the Beta One campaign. Actually, at St. Pete, we had a veteran that came to the American Legion mobile, and he asked for help, and he's now surrounded by all the American Legion folks. We saved that life, and I think that we're raising the awareness of the issue, and it all starts by just asking our veterans if they need help. And you never know, so you can be the one to save a veteran life today. So if anybody wants some information how to do it and how the American Legion works, they have the beta1.org, and they have all the information there.
And your team boss Chip Ganassi said in 30+ years of being in the sport and helping companies sell and promote lots of products, it doesn't even compare to the life that was saved at St. Pete. All the best today. You might defend that win. You're already the champ. Your name's already going on here twice. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
There he is, Alex Palou. He is, of course, the lead story this weekend, but there's plenty of others as well if you've just joined us, because Alex is a winner. Yes, he's one of those 7-time winners, but that means there's 20 non-winners. And yes, that's what they're racing for today, like teammates Pato O'Ward, Alexander Rossi. They would not like to finish this season without a win. Colton Herter would dearly like to be a 3-time winner here, and Will Power is trying to keep an amazing streak of consecutive seasons with at least one win. What about Felix Rosenqvist? He rocked the field yesterday by getting the NTT P1 pole position, but he has a tough customer on the outside in Team Penske's Scott McLaughlin. Let's talk more about Scotty Mack. He's with Dylan Welsh.
And it's his best start here at Laguna, an 8th front row start this year. So you guys have had top 10s every single race since the Indianapolis 500. No wins in that stretch, but what does it say about the strength of this team right now at the end of the year?
Yeah, I was super proud of the 33s, XPEL Chevy. It's you know, it's been up and down. You know, eight front rows out of 17 races this year, but we only got one win, so that's the bad stat. But super proud of how we've performed. I think we've taken it up a notch. It's just Alex and Scott Dixon and other people have taken up another level. So you just got to keep rising to the occasion. But super excited. I think we can really have a good chance today. It's just a matter of me doing my job and the team doing theirs.
You've said this year that you want to be the top Penske car. There's a little bit of ground to make up 21 points to Joseph. Is that an achievable accomplishment today?
The best thing I can do is win. So, you know, it is, but at the same time, we want to be the top Chevy team as well from a team perspective. But, yeah, look, absolutely, I'd love to beat my teammates, but that's just, you know, we're competitors. We push hard. We push each other hard. And it gets tense at times, but we have such a good respect for each other. And we just know how good each other is. So if you can beat them, that's a good thing.
33s have been on a roll lately. They're going to look for some validation of those results with a win today for Scott McLaughlin. He starts second. Kevin.
Dylan, Felix Rosenqvist will start his final race with Arrow McLaren from pole today before moving on to Meyer Shank Racing next season. And coming off a second at Portland, what is the thought process coming into this last go-around with this team you spent 3 years with?
Oh, I think it's a good feeling. It was fun getting that podium last weekend in Portland. Amazing race, amazing effort from everyone at the 6th car in our McLaren, and coming here and just following it up with a pole is, yeah, I feel like we're all relaxed, we're all having fun, we're all, you know, even if we're leaving next year, there's good feelings, you know, between us. There's no, you know, hard feelings or no, you know, shenanigans going on. It's just, you know, some things end, and you have to deal with that and be be an adult about it, and I think that's what we've done from both sides. And we just said, you know, hey, let's have fun here the last couple of races. I think it's in everyone's interest to just finish this off as good as we can. And yeah, we've been rolling, man. I hope we can just continue for a couple of more laps here and this year and finish it off well.
Felix Rosenqvist has had it rolling lately. It's clicking. He's driving free, and Lee, he is going to start from the front today.
Good stuff, Kevin. Thank you. I can tell you that Felix Rosenqvist is going to miss the Arrow McLaren team, and vice versa. The team are going to miss him. He's one of the most liked drivers in the paddock. But T-Bell, let's talk business. He seems as though once he's had his future secured, he's relaxed a little bit. The results are coming. Is that the case?
I don't know. I mean, Felix Rosenqvist has been on pole position before. He's performed before. But I think today it's not just about the individual. I think it's fitting on the opening night for Sunday Night Football that we talk about team support, because I think this is the most fierce battle we'll see on pit lane for the win today. It's very difficult to pass, and if you look at the top pit stop performers from the 23 season, you see 3 Team Penske cars. That's all 3 Team Penske cars in the top 5. If you're going to win at Laguna Seca today, your team has to get it done on pit lane for you. I don't care how fast you are. You have to have also the fastest guns in the West in terms of the pit guns.
Well, we know that Team Penske are fast on pit lane, James, and one of the Penske drivers is Scott McLaughlin. Had a little off track excursion in the morning warm-up, but he told me earlier today he is more determined to win this race than maybe any this season, and he's already one of those 7 winners this year.
Yeah, exactly. He's not in that group of 20 that hasn't won yet, but man, that does not turn down the flame on Scott McLaughlin at all. You talked about the pit stop potential advantage that they've got on the 3s. He's starting on the softer alternate tires. He's going to be super aggressive on the start, try to get that track position. And we mentioned that inter-team battle. He wants to be the best Penske guy. So there's a lot of motivation behind Scott McLaughlin. I think he's got a great shot. He's been happy with the car this weekend. It's going to be a great shootout up front.
He starts alongside poleman Felix Rosenqvist from the Arrow McLaren organization. With more on that team, McLaren, because of the team's history and heritage and success, Marty Snyder, they're always in the headlines. Who you got?
I've got the CEO, Zach Brown, hanging out here with us at Laguna Seca this weekend. So let's kind of talk about how Arrow McLaren's doing right now. Zach, you added the 3rd team this year. How much progress has McLaren made to catching up to the likes of Penske and Ganassi, you feel?
Good progress, but we still have a ways to go. It's been a really strong season. All 3 cars have been quick. Pretty much every track we've been to. I think we've had a few races that we could have ended up on the top step of the podium, about 3 or 4. But hey, that's racing, and that's what everyone says. Of course, you got to close the deal. Hopefully, we can close the deal today with one of our 3 cars. We're starting in pretty good shape with Felix here.
Yeah, you mentioned it, still looking for that first win of 2023. So let's talk about the off-track stuff. You had Alex Palou sign. He was coming to McLaren in 2024. Now he's staying at Ganassi. Did that catch you off guard, his decision, and did it put you guys as an organization behind a little bit in a bit of a box?
Well, I think anytime you have a signed contract with someone, you're expecting them to honor that. Obviously, he's chosen not to, but you know, we're a big organization. Fortunately, a lot of people would like to drive for us, so we want people that want to be in our racing team. We've got a great driver lineup in Alex and Pato, and then of course, very excited to have David Malukas join us. So we'll be fine.
So you have a very unique perspective. Obviously, you see F1 every week. Well, how would you describe the health of IndyCar right now as you look at it from a global perspective?
It's very strong. You know, the competition is unbelievable. You never quite know who's going to win each weekend, which is a great place for any racing series to be. The car count is very strong. Great new races like Nashville. I think we might have something coming back on the schedule for next year. I think to have Roger Penske owning the series and the league, you couldn't have someone who's more passionate about motorsports than Roger Penske. So that being said, I think there's a lot of room for opportunity, for continued growth, and that's something that we want to play our part and contribute to that growth.
Well, Diff, it's always good to have Zach Brown hanging out at the racetrack with us. And you know, if the race is in California, Zach's going to be here. He's a California guy at heart.
It's coming home for the CEO of McLaren Racing, so you know that he's going to have a great weekend. Hinch, what's your assessment on the Arrow McLaren team this year? Pato O'Ward has been the team leader. He's had 7 or 8 podiums this year. It's been a tremendous year, but they're lacking victories.
I I think you'd be surprised if you had told us at the start of the season we'd be at the last round and McLaren was still searching for its first victory of the year. But I think Zach makes a good point. You know, the progress is there. We've seen what he's done with the Formula One team. The turnaround they've had even just in season is impressive. And the championship is so competitive. Between Palou and Newgarden, that's 9 race wins gone. So it's been tough. Pato was really close at the start of the year. They've dropped off a little bit on form. They haven't been quite as close to the podium lately, but Felix is in a great shot to get that first W.
Might be their best opportunity all season because Felix has track position. It is going to be crucial today. And again, the pressure goes on Zach Brown's race team on pit lane to perform. Keep Felix out in front. We know he's capable behind the wheel. The team's got to step up and battle with Penske and Ganassi all day long.
It is also a special day for one of the legends of this sport. Driving for Meyer Shank Racing, who he will be a co-owner of the team next year. Yes, it's the dancing man. It's Spider-Man. Helio Castroneves has his last full-time ride today. Do you know that you can help fight hunger? Yes, race fans, you can join Hy-Vee and help reach their goal of 100 million meals during the 100 Million Meals Challenge. Scan the QR code or donate and check out Hy-Vee.com. By the way, talking about cool things, look at this, the Corvette giveaway. It's been one of 4 this year, and this man here, Steve Warden from Omaha, Nebraska, getting his Corvette with thanks to Hy-Vee, yes, here at the Firestone Grand Prix, and thank you. That's the 4th and final one. That has been a fantastic promotion this year. Look at the day we have here today for the championship finale. Alex Palou may have already put the title beyond reach, but we are going to have quite the party here in California. And this is the last day that you'll see certain drivers in certain liveries and color schemes and teams. Last year's Indy 500 winner Marcus Ericsson ends his tenure at Chip Ganassi Racing. He is off to Andretti. Linus Lundqvist will slide into Chip Ganassi Racing, the young Swede. And speaking about young drivers from New Zealand, Marcus Armstrong will drive the entire season next year. That's Road Street and Ovals next year. With more on the driver movement, let's join Kevin Lee. Kev?
Yeah, we want to continue to just talk about, summarize seasons for teams. So we saw Marcus Ericsson, so that now becomes part of the Andretti situation. Certainly it's gone great for Chip Ganassi Racing, but he's moving on and he's sort of replacing the driver of the number 28 DHL car. We don't know what the branding will be like. We don't know what the car number will be, but Romain Grosjean is moving on next year. So let's talk Andretti and how their season went this season, and I would say it's been mixed. They've been fast at times, including Kyle Kirkwood in his 2nd year in the series. The young Floridian has broken through with 2 wins, so I think he feels pretty good about the way this season has gone. Knows there could be a little bit more available, but he's on the brink and making good progress. And then there's Colton Herta, who has been fast, a couple of poles, but this right now is the first time he's not won an IndyCar. He's only got a best finish of 3rd this season, so Colton desperately wants to get something done today. Andretti Autosport, good season. They want better next season. Now to Marty Snyder.
Kevin, let's talk about Juncos Hollinger Racing. And for Augustine Canapino, very impressive rookie campaign for him. Looks like he'll come up just short in the Rookie of the Year honors, but also his teammate Callum Ilott. I spent some time with Callum earlier this weekend, and Callum told me if he could use one word to describe the season, it would be optimistic. He said, hey, listen, I know we've put together some decent finishes like 5th at St. Pete earlier this year to start off the season. Our biggest thing, and the reason I say optimism, is that we've only put together pieces of weekends. If next year we can put together more whole weekends, that's what we need to do. Callum told me earlier this week he does expect to be back in this 77 car next year. Talked to the team owner Ricardo Juncos yesterday. He said, I have not officially signed my drivers, but I hope to do that here in the next couple of weeks, Dylan.
Marty, it's the end of an era today, the end of the full-time IndyCar career for Helio Castroneves. So you're not retiring. We'll still get to see you at the Indianapolis 500 for, I guess, as long as you want to drive now that you're a part owner of this team. But have you been able to take some time this weekend to kind of just reflect on your career and some important moments to you?
I'll be honest, not really. You're so focused in what you're doing day by day, and of course, the job is still haven't not done yet. So, but interesting, yeah, not the start, not the way you want to do it. But I was looking and start thinking last night. It's sort of like the perspective what's going to happen from now on. I started in the back, have so many opportunities to pass people, which I think is going to be in life as well. So many opportunities to do so many other things. Don't need to look back, just look forward And I can't wait. To be honest, I'm so thankful for so many people, obviously from the beginning of my career to now. And yeah, it will be a lot of fun.
What are you looking forward to most about this next step in life for you?
You know, obviously I've been doing this for so many years that I learned so much in this sport. And I feel that giving it back, you know, I'm going to wearing a lot of different hats, including as a team owner, but also coaching or helping the drivers continue representing great partners that we have today. So all of this will be a great challenge in our head as well, and still be here because this is my life. This is part of what I want to. And it's still racing some other series. So SRX is one of them, and hopefully whatever is going to happen next, we'll just wait and see.
We'll still get to see him a lot around the IndyCar paddock. He's got one more drive as a full-time driver in the 06 this afternoon at Laguna for Helio Castroneves.
And Dylan, the sport is richer for having the 47-year-old Brazilian in it for more than 2 decades. And fellas, there are, and this is an exaggeration, there are tens of thousands of people that have shaken hands with that guy, that have met them, and have seen that endless energy up close. And today there'll be a little bit bittersweet as we say farewell to him on a full-time basis, but Helio will still be around. But let's talk about something a little more serious, and that is his team that he's going to be the co-owner of. It has been a pretty rough year this year as far as results, so they need a big one next year.
It's been a really topsy-turvy year for Meyer Shank Racing, and they are making huge changes for next year. They're on a mission. In fact, they're on a quest. They've got Felix Rosenquist coming. They've got Tom Blomqvist coming. And they are on this mission to improve performance, and they're leaving no stone unturned. And, you know, horrible situation with Simon Pagenaud's accident. Still wishing him the very best with his recovery. But the team needs to figure out what it's going to take to get themselves in contention week in and week out, simply for top 10s. Not even top 5s or podiums at this point. They need to be in the top 10 conversation.
Hinch, when you think about it, I mean, Meyer Shank Racing has won the Indianapolis 500. They've won the podiums in IndyCar competition. They've won Rolex 24s multiple times in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Does this speak to the competitiveness of this series right now? A team as good as that can still struggle?
Absolutely. You cannot just walk into this series and expect to be competitive no matter what you've accomplished in other series. And it even shows year to year. Yes, won the Indy 500 a few years back, but that doesn't mean anything today in Laguna Seca. So it's a tough situation for them right now.
All right, let's talk about some other teams. How about Andretti Autosport? A couple of wins with Kyle Kirkwood, but other than that, they're still searching, and in particular, Colton Herta. It could be his day today. What do you foresee for today and the future with Andretti?
Well, listen, 2 of the most exciting drivers in this series, Colton Herta and Kyle Kirkwood, young Americans that are race winners in IndyCar. It's actually been Herta's teammate, Kyle Kirkwood, with 2 wins on the season on street circuits, and so Kyle Kirkwood's one to watch coming through the field. He was super disappointed to get blocked in qualifying. You see the results this year, those 5 poles, 2 wins only from Kirkwood. Colton Herta is somebody that I think is desperate to do what he's done here before and make this his 3rd win today.
Yeah, there's a big push over the offseason at Andretti to try and improve performance all around. They're no doubt the best cars on street circuits at the moment, but there's still time to be found on the ovals. Road course performance up and down. There's still progress to be made, but it's a very motivated group.
And if you think that car looks somewhat familiar, kind of like Colton Herta's dad Brian's car, yes it does. We'll tell you that story a little bit later. But Townsend mentioned Simon Pagenaud, the Indy 500 winner and series champion. I want to remind you, it was about 10 weeks ago at the beginning of July, Pagenaud experienced this frightening accident at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and he has not been in a car since. Simon, your throngs of fans all over the world are supporting you in your recovery. He put out a public message on social media earlier this week saying obviously it's the end of the road for him with Meyer Shank in IndyCar competition as he continues to focus on recovering 100%. And people all over this country, in his native homeland of France and all around the world, he's got a huge fan base, and we're thinking of you, Simon, at home with your wife and kids, and take it easy, mate, and get back to 100% fitness as soon as you can. All right, we spoke about this young Californian. That's Colton Herta. He is driven to get a win this season, a first win this season. That sounds unfamiliar, doesn't it? And if he does, it would be his 3rd here at what is known as Herta's house, WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca.
It's been my dream since I was a kid. I'm just really thankful, man, for everyone that's done everything for me.
Ah, man, what a relief, huh? What a relief to get that done.
This is motorsport's version of Disneyland. This place is incredible, and the pictures tell you the story as to why.
He takes the season, he takes the race. Michael Andretti. Alex Zanardi with a brilliant move. Takes the checkered flag. Unbelievable. First career win for Brian Herta, and well earned.
Colton Herta wins at a track where his dad did. Joseph Newgarden is the 2019 champion. Will Power joins some very famous names as a two-time NTT IndyCar Series champion.
Oh man, that sounds surreal, honestly.
Oh, what a day we have in store for you here. 95 laps is the race distance at the legendary Laguna Seca, WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, on a beautiful California day. We're here on the Central Coast in the Monterey Bay area. Just spectacular. Look at the crowd, look at the weather. Everybody is pumped for this championship finale. Hi folks, Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, James Hinchcliffe. We are ready to go. T-Bell, wouldn't you say this is kind of like a theme park for race car drivers? What a place.
Oh, it is. It's a roller coaster ride. I mean, the elevation change at Laguna Seca is something that you really don't see anywhere else in the world, especially with the world famous corkscrew corner here. You fall, about 8 stories top to bottom when you G out there in turn 9, and with this brand new pavement, there is so much grip on line. The drivers are seeing over 4 Gs in the corners. That is a massive amount of lateral and vertical load on their bodies. It's going to be a tough one today.
There is some $15 million that have been spent in upgrading this facility, not only on track but off as well. Hinch, we were blown away yesterday by the speeds, the raw speed. Qualifying was 5 seconds faster than last year. Now keep that in mind when we talk about the race, because there have been 7 winners this year. That means 20 drivers haven't won. Who's at the top of that list for you, who's gunning for a victory today, who has to close this season out in the best way?
All 20 of them, Tiff. I mean, every single one of them wants it as bad as the next. I mean, for me, I'm looking at Will Power. Will Power, not just as the reigning, well, no longer the champion. It's already been taken from him by Alex Palou, but he's on a streak of 16 consecutive seasons with a victory. I know drivers like to say records, we don't really think about it. I promise you, he's thinking about it. He wants that win. He wants to maintain that record. I think he's got a big ass from where he's qualified, but at the same time, the fire is deep and he can get it done.
All right, let's talk to some drivers who are desperately in need of a win. Let's kick it off with Marty Snyder. Marty?
Yeah, Graham Rahal, Diff would love that first win of the year. It's been a very up and down year for Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing, but yesterday you told me this will be the most physical race of the year. They just talked about it up there at the front of the grid. Why do you think it will be?
Well, I even had Davey Hamilton just come up to me and say he can't turn the 2-seater in turn 9. So everybody's feeling it. You know, it's just a very demanding place. Obviously, the ambient temp today is not bad, but, you know, this place, turn 9, turn 10, it's all you can give for sure. And I think there's a lot of guys that are going to be, yeah, I think, including myself, you've got to stay sharp. You know, when you start to physically break down, then mentally it's easy to break down, and that's the times in which you make more mistakes. But obviously for us in the iPacket 15 car here, we'd like to we would like to finish this season on a high note, and what, 2 poles in the last 4 races, it's not bad, but of course we want to get a win and get that monkey off our back. So I think anything can happen today. Let's see. We're starting on reds, a lot of guys around us on blacks. We got plenty of reds, we got plenty of blacks, so let's see what way the race goes.
Toughest test of the year for the drivers coming up, Dylan.
Marty Santino Ferrucci qualified 11th, but because of an engine penalty, will start a little further back than that today in 17th. But these smooth, freshly paved racetracks, Road America here at Laguna, even the Oval at Indianapolis, have been kind of the strengths of this program this year. So what's the potential of this car today?
Yeah, you know, I think we've been a top 10 car all weekend long. Obviously, it's been tough to show that. The engine change between free practice and qualifying was definitely tough, but hats off to all of our Sexton Properties crew. I mean, they hustled. Chevy helped us out as well to get that back on track. And, yeah, to qualify in advance for us, 3rd time this year, is pretty cool. And, you know, we're starting around some real good cars today. We're just going to try and capitalize on other people's mistakes. You know, I think we can get it into the top 10 if we play our cards right, and we have some good stops and some good outlaps. But we're just out here to have some fun. We got the car in the leadership circle, which I think is really important. Or, you know, we should be able to do that with this final race. Obviously, anything's possible with points mathematically. But, yeah, it's a big goal for us, something that we got to check off the list and go out there and enjoy the final race of the season.
Good things ahead for AJ Foyt Racing. Santino will try to move forward and get the team's first road course top 10 of the year, Kevin.
Dylan, as has been noted, this is the house that the herd has built. Dad Brian won here twice. Colton has already won twice. What is it about this place with you guys?
I don't know. Obviously, a little bit of a local race for us, being from California. But yeah, I really love this place. It's treated us well in the past. Hopefully it treats us well again today. Seems like we have a good car, just missing qualifying a little bit. But we have the speed, we have the pace to fight through here. It's going to be a long one, a physical one. And this Cambridge Honda is up for it, so I'm excited for today.
Yeah, he is starting just a little bit better the mid-pack, but Lee Colton Herta has a fast car from 12th today.
Wouldn't that be something if he eclipsed Dad Brian and got a third IndyCar win here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca? T-Bell, you're on the hot seat. Is it going to be Herta's house again, or is there somebody else who's got your attention?
He's going to have a tall order, I think. Colton Herta will coming through the field. I like Christian Lundgaard for some reason. I think in qualifying, Lundgaard was about to wax the field. He made a tiny mistake in the corkscrew. Otherwise, he would have been on pole. He's won his first race this season at arguably the other really physical race we had in Toronto. He can do it. The team can do it. Watch Lundgaard today in the 45.
I think one thing, Hinch, that's very interesting is that for the first time in almost 2 decades, this championship was decided before the last race. Typically, we get close to double digits of winners this year. It's just 7 this year. So domination of Palou, Joseph Newgarden's excellence. It is tough now to succeed in IndyCar, right? To be at the front.
And it just shows that when you're on a roll, you're on a roll. To have one driver with 4 wins, another driver with 5 wins, that's another thing that's unheard of in IndyCar at the moment.
Hang on. A hot seat for me? What about this guy? What's your pick? What do you got?
That's a tough one.
Come on.
I don't know.
He tried to slide out of that one.
I think I like Scotty Mack from the front row.
Okay. All right. Well, it's all to play for. It's championship day, and it's somewhat of a relaxed vibe because the championship's already been decided. Some drivers are leaving their teams. That means they can just go for it, like Arrow McLaren's Pato O'Ward. Yes, he has the most podiums in the field without a win. How much do you think that's driving him? We'll talk more about the McLaren man when we come back.
People Ready, the official staffing provider of the NTT IndyCar Series, is once again hosting the People Ready Force for Good Challenge, where drivers compete for the grand prize of $1 million to be split with a charity of their choice. To learn more, go to visit peopleready.com/force for good. Look at that crowd on the grid today. What a day for the final race of the season. 28 weeks of racing this year, 12 states and 2 countries, and it all wraps up this afternoon here on the Monterey Peninsula. Time for today's pre-race ceremonies from Laguna Seca.
At this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Defense Language Institute Language Center Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Chaplain Jason Holt of IndyCar Ministries offers today's invocation.
Father God, we thank you for the gift of life and for creating such an amazing place for a racetrack. God, we thank you for the brave men and women who sacrificed it all that we might be free to gather and pray openly like this today. And so, God, we ask for your blessing over these drivers, teams, safety personnel, and these great fans, that we would have an exciting and yet safe day of racing. But most of all, we say thank you for the hope and love available to all at the cross of Jesus Christ, in whose name I pray. Amen.
Here to honor America with the singing of our national anthem, please welcome Airman First Class Natalie Angst from the United States Air Force Band of the Golden West.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free.
Terrific flyover and anthem as well. You heard Diff mention a moment ago, Pato Ward has more podiums in the field than anyone without a win this year. He would love to change that here today. There have been 26 red flags in all the practice sessions here at Laguna Seca. Pato Ward was 2 of those yesterday, going off twice, including in qualifying. He told me we have a fast enough car to be able to get from 9th to the front today and hopefully get that first win of 2023, Dylan.
Marty, Ryan Hunter-Reay was brought in mid-season by Ed Carpenter Racing to evaluate and stabilize their 2-car program as an IndyCar champion and Indianapolis 500 winner. His knowledge and things that he can contribute to this situation no doubt has been felt and noticed. Teammate Rinus VeeKay is coming off his best result of the year last weekend at Portland. He credited Ryan with bringing a more professional, organized, and detailed approach to every race weekend, and both teams have grown because of that. And while he likely won't be back in this car in 2024, Ryan still plans on running the Indianapolis 500, hopes to do some driving in some other disciplines as well, and one thing's for certain, wherever he lands, he'll have a positive impact and make a difference at that race team. Kevin Lee.
Dylan, there is another championship to be decided today, and it's Rookie of the Year, and it's just about set. This young man, 22 years old from New Zealand, Marcus Armstrong, is up by 26 points. So Augustine Canapino would have to finish 4th today, even if Armstrong goes out early. So it's all but locked up, and he did this by only doing the road course races this year. He missed 5 oval races, but he's going to do them all next season. Already confirmed, in fact, will be in a car on an oval for the first time next week at Texas Motor Speedway. And what a season it's been for Chip Ganassi Racing, and there's been some uncertainty, but that got cleared up recently. Last weekend, Chip Ganassi told me in Victory Lane that Alex Palou, after uncertainty, definitely back in the car for him next year. And our lead Diffie sat down with Chip this weekend to speak on what has been another amazing season for Chip Ganassi Racing.
When we talk about championships, we're not talking 1 or 2 or 3. This is your 15th IndyCar championship. How does that resonate with you?
It makes me think back to, you know, just yesterday winning with Jimmy Vasser, our first championship in 1996. So it's a bit odd to be here before the end of the season, having won it already, and we still have a race to go. And very, very honored and pleased about the team's performance this year.
30+ years of Chip Ganassi Racing, and here we are talking about you and your organization. Does that surprise even yourself? Has it gone beyond the original plan?
It's gone way beyond that, way beyond what anybody could ever dream. You look back on it, it's a dream come true for a kid from Pittsburgh, you know, that really didn't. I didn't have a family racing background. You know, maybe learn from my father. Just keep your head down and keep moving, you know, one foot in front of the other, and you'll be fine. And you treat everybody with respect and treat everybody in an honest and fair manner, and you're a lot further off down the road.
The difficult past 18 months with Alex Palou and the contractual situations. How did you feel when you thought that you may have lost him to another team?
I was always confused by that because I know what I was reading, but that really wasn't my relationship with him. We won here at Laguna Seca a year ago, and Alex and I had a conversation there, and I said to Mike Hall after that, I said, I don't think that guy's for sure gone.
What's the legacy of Chip Ganassi Racing? What are they going to say about CGR down the road?
I hope they say that, you know, he gave more to the sport than he took.
What a magical year for Chip Ganassi and his driver, Alex Palou. 5 wins and now his 2nd championship, the 15th title in the NTT IndyCar Series for Ganassi Racing. The championship may be decided, but there's still plenty to race for today. When we come back, time to get the engines cranked here in Monterey and officially crown a champion at the end of the day.
Could we have a more spectacular locale for the season finale? The central coast of California, Monterey Bay. What a picture. As NBC Sports welcomes you to race 17 of 17, the season finale the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey here at the legendary WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, on a picture-perfect day. It could not be any better for this place to host the NTT IndyCar Series season finale one more time. And that's special because remember, next year the season finale will be on the downtown streets of Nashville, Tennessee. But all of these IndyCar faithful fans are here ready. There's a lot of excitement about this. What will go down today? The title has been put beyond reach. Alex Palou is already this year's champion, but today's all about the win. Today's all about maybe ending an era of your career or your time with a particular team and ending this season as a winner, and that is important. Welcome, folks. Lee Diffie along with Townsend Bell and James Hinchcliffe. It's almost ready to go racing.
And great to see so many thousands of fans here that have said, hey, dude, hold my board. I'm going off the beach right now. Let's go inland here, halfway between Monterey and Salinas, up on the hill near the corkscrew to watch the drama unfold. And James, we've had a lot of drama on this brand new asphalt this weekend.
We sure have. It's been fast, but it's been fierce. Even a little bit offline, that incredible gain in grip that the drivers are seeing completely disappears. We've seen some big wrecks from some big name drivers, and it's definitely something we're going to pay attention to in the race.
And we talked in the pre-race show about so many drivers that want their first win of the season, like this guy, Pato O'Ward, who got it wrong over in turn 3. And the problem with the new surface is it's so sticky that if you get a chance to pass, you move offline and it gets so slippery.
And it's so much faster that it's so much more physical. By the end of this race, fatigue's going to set in. It's going to make those small mistakes that can have those huge consequences even more prevalent.
This is like a rose. Looks great, but it's got thorns. That's for sure. So it's been inviting the drivers to push at high speeds, but as you've seen, it's caught many of them out. Time to go trackside for the command.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to give the command for the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey. Please welcome your Grand Marshal, content creator, Truett Batten.
Drivers, start your engines.
Fuel here at Red 1 right now.
Engines are fired for all 27 cars. Let's get this thing going. What a day. Yes, on the first weekend of the NFL season, it's the final weekend of the NTT IndyCar Series, and here is the Firestone starting grid, and there is universal pleasure for Felix Rosenqvist getting the pole in his final drive for Arrow McLaren. He'll share that front row with Team Penske's Scott McLaughlin.
Yeah, looking at row 2, Lundgaard, that'd be my pick just based on the practice pace that he has showed. Next to him, Joseph Newgard, winner of the Indy 500. He's in a great starting position to make something happen.
Guys, I could pick a winner from all first of those 5 rows, and it keeps going. You go to row 6, 2 very capable drivers on that row. Rookie Yuri Vips impressing in his second outing in IndyCar back there in row 7. You see Kirkwood for Andretti Autosport back there. All goes Hollinger across row 10.
There's been a myriad of engine penalties, grid penalties, I should say, for unapproved engine changes. So people sliding backwards, like Augustine Canapino and many others. Newcomer Tom Blomqvist will start on the 11th row with newly signed McLaren man David Malukas. And then you've got the veteran Ryan Hunter-Reay in what will be most likely his last full-time drive as an IndyCar racer, but we'll see him again at the Indianapolis 500 and other events. And then Elio Castro-Neves in his final full-time ride. The 4-time Indy 500 winner will start at the rear of the field. Hey, it's time to talk to a driver like we always do. T-Bell, who you got today?
Oh, one of the fastest guys in the history of this sport, 70 pole positions. The driver of the number 12 Verizon car, Will Power. Let's see if we can get him on the line. Hey, Will, it's Townsend with NBC. You copy?
Copy, Townsend.
Hey, bud, you just ripping down the hill through the corkscrew. You've had 16 seasons with consecutive seasons with wins. You've got a chance to make it 17 right here. How tough is this race going to be physically in the car and the competition around you?
Obviously, always extremely tough in this series. But as you know, you can win from anywhere. So we'll be doing our best. do that.
Well, you've got the fastest guns in the West on pit lane. Team Penske, specifically your team, leads the group with the fastest pit stops this season. I know you're going to trust them on pit lane when it counts.
Yeah, copy. We're still trying to win that championship, so make sure I hit my marks all day to the boys. And yeah, so best on pit lane, must have them. I know they're going to make a difference for me today.
All right, we'll get those Firestones warmed up, and good luck. Thank you.
There he is.
Copy, thank you.
The outgoing NTT IndyCar champ, but no one can take away the two that he has won. Do you know, Will Powers had a second and a third here, so all that's left is a victory. We wish him well in the Verizon Chevy. So away he goes, and we'll see what kind of a day is in store over these 95 laps. Time now for the Honda track preview, and something a little special today.
Here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, it's 2.2 miles as we do our Honda track preview from behind the wheel of the Honda CR-V hybrid racer. That's a full IndyCar engine in the back, full song down now into turn 2. This is the Andretti hairpin. All the passing on starts and restarts is here. You used to be able to go side by side. We'll see if that repave is gonna let that happen today. And now to my favorite part of the track, turn 6, blind entry, big compression, then on the throttle for that massive climb up the Ray Hall straightaway. Elevation to the max as you head into the most famous corner in all of motorsports. It's blind at turn in. You just aim for a tree, smash the throttle, and hope you got it right. That's the corkscrew as you drop down over 10 stories through turn 9. It's the never-ending corner, longest one on the track, fastest one on the track, highest G-forces on the track. It's gonna be fast, it's gonna be physical, but it's gonna be fun for these drivers, and that is your Honda track preview.
And of course, that was our very own James Hinchcliffe behind the wheel of the Honda Beast, which many of you have seen each and every weekend at the NTT IndyCar Series. We have got enough time to join the boys on pit road one last time before we get going. Kevin Lee, take it away.
The 6-time champ, Scott Dixon, is finishing up his 23rd IndyCar season. He's going to finish second in the championship. That's top 4, 17 of the last 18 years, but a real challenge today because the last lap of the warm-up today, right before 10 o'clock local time, the engine let loose, and these guys got it changed in 90 minutes. He has to start further back from 11th, but his teammate Palou won from that position with a penalty last year, Dylan.
Kevin, maybe the best car in the field starts third today. That's Christian Lundgaard, was on pace in qualifying to be on pole, but a small mistake on his fast lap has them starting on the second row today. The road course resurgence of Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan has been well documented, but Christian pushes himself to be better every time he's in the car. He said it hurts and it's tough, but this car has been there all weekend, and today he wants to prove it belongs at the front of the field all day long, Marty.
Well, Dylan, the Ganassi career for Marcus Ericsson will come to an end today, but think what he's accomplished behind the wheel of the 8 car. An Indy 500 win, almost won it a second time this year. He admitted to me earlier this week the off-track discussions this year about where he would drive next year, which is Andretti Autosport, were certainly a distraction. Hoping to finish it strong today. He starts 18th, Diff.
And we'll see what kind of progress he makes in his final drive for Chip Ganassi Racing. These are some of the best drivers in the world, but by these increased speeds, the lure of going faster and harder has forced them into mistakes, many this weekend. Who will be the cleanest? Who will be the fastest? Who will be the best to finish this 2023 NTT IndyCar season off? This is the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey, and already several cars out of their respective columns, like Colton Herter. Herter was way out wide, trying to grab positions at the line as Rosenquist leads the field down into the Andretti hairpin.
We've seen side by side and 1 and 2 before, but there's contact. Scott McLaughlin looks like Newgarden. I see lots of cars involved. Yuri Vips. 2 of the 3 Team Penske Chevys are off.
And Ritas VK, so 5 cars with contact.
You're broken there.
There's Graham Rahal in the I-packet car. That's the green car.
I'm in neutral here. I just need a refire. Front one.
2 Penskes, 2 Rahal Letterman Lanigan Hondas. Incredible.
It's still green for the time being, so these guys are all racing for position till that yellow comes out. There it is, T-Bell. But man, I was expecting issues on the outside of turn 2, given the repave, not from the inside.
Yeah, a lot to digest here as Newgarden got his car in reverse, but he's beached. gives the signal to the AMR safety team. And this is an important game right here. This tap dance, you want attention. If you're Newgarden, you're like, drag me out, get me refired before the pace car laps me with the field. Graham Rahal looks to be done for the day. He's going to go talk to Yuri Vips, hopefully to check on his teammate. Doesn't quite look like it from the body language.
It sure doesn't. AMR safety workers there trying to make sure this doesn't escalate. You can't hear a lot when you're yelling through helmets, so I don't think much of a conversation can happen there.
Yeah, but I think Yuri knows sign language. Yeah. Doesn't matter where you're from.
I just got hit from the side. I didn't touch anyone. Everyone crashed in front of me. I just got piled up.
And that's what Yuri Vips says. Let's have a look at a replay of the start and watch for Power and Herder either side of their columns. There goes Power, Herder to the left in the white and black car.
So I don't know about Colton Herder's move there.
It's bizarre. I mean, obviously there was a checkup. You know, a jump start is considered pulling out of line before the green, so we're not sure exactly when the green was. You saw Will Power get massive sideways. That's what caused his.
Yeah, there's Colton.
Yuri Vips pulled out and then kind of got back on the brakes. Now look at the traffic jam there in the middle of your screen.
Let's see what happens here. Yuri Vips is back here with Graham Rahal. And just a little bump.
So that was Marcus Armstrong got into the back of Graham Rahal. Yeah, I think that turned him into Yuri Vips.
Yes.
It wasn't Yuri's fault. He locks up there, though. But watch this. 3 into 2. And that's what gets Graham sideways, and then Vips gets tagged and goes across in front of him. There's carbon fiber flying everywhere.
So it sort of started from a 3-wide break with Armstrong in the middle.
Oh boy, we told you even before the green flag dropped that it was going to be eventful. It's come true. You're watching the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey here on NBC, your home of motorsport. And we're running around at quite a slower pace with not even a full lap under green flag racing conditions. There was a turn 2 incident. Look at the front, the yellow car and white car. Expel Chevy Scott McLaughlin got hit by Christian Lundgaard, and off the track he goes, and then that caused a little bit of chaos behind. Joseph Newgarden's view.
Yeah, watch Lundgaard. He's going to climb the apex curb and get a little kicker, gets sideways and recovers, but hits Scott McLaughlin, and then Newgarden just gets totally wrecking balled.
Must feel like a pinata. Got hit twice. Neither one of them is fault. Now on board with Pato O'Ward. On the brakes, that's Will Power in front. Colton Herder to his outside. Wow, got pinched there a little bit, but managed to escape.
Yeah, Colton just turned right across the bow, and then Scott Dixon, I think, got sideways back there, and that's how Rinus VeeKay went out.
McLaughlin, look to the left, look to the left. Boom. Didn't quite see Lundgaard. That's how far back he was.
Great job from McLaughlin to keep the car at speed on the gravel. This is on board with Rahal. This will be a big hit.
You heard Rahal having to lift off the throttle, but he's 3 wide here. It's Armstrong, that green wing on the inside there. And as Graham tries to cut back.
And I can understand why Graham assumed it was Yuri, but it wasn't.
Rinus VeeKay. Now you're going to watch for a little bit longer through the corner and watch to the left. Scott Dixon, so he avoids that. But here comes the orange and blue PNC Bank Honda. Watch this. Bang.
So I think, how'd you like to be race control right now? There's a lot to process here.
So this is on board with Yuri Vips now. 30, the rookie in his second ever race. Right up the back of Scott Dixon. He gets hit. Sent into his teammate and Joseph Newgarden. Further back, we saw some contact between one of the Junko's Hollinger cars and maybe Kyle Kirkwood. We've heard he's been having some damage. Tended to back in pit lane. Here is Yuri in the MyJack Honda for RLL. Mayhem so far, Kev.
A quick update on those that were able to leave the scene, like Kyle Kirkwood, but it is significant damage. They took him straight back to the garage, at least a wishbone, maybe more. Rinus VeeKay was stuck in the sand for a bit, got it going, but he's going to need to pit, and they think they have a toe link or some other kind of suspension damage for him. Dylan.
2 of the Rahal Letterman cars that were involved in that were in. Christian Lundgaard had front wing damage. They changed that, put sticker reds on for him, so he's going to have the softer tires coming from the back of the field. And Yuri Vips has some upright and suspension damage. The big thing here is the leader circle. The top 22 in owners points are kind of incentivized with some monetary things for the next year. Yuri was 3 points to the good in that battle. This is a big development here for that battle throughout the rest of the race, Marty.
And Dylan Scott McLaughlin also pitted there, giving up a little bit of track position. They went from 2nd to 19th after the off-course excursion there. You got to wonder, Townsend, if this is going to open the door. Maybe not for the Chevys, but for the Hondas to at least start considering. They need more caution laps, but to consider it a 2-stop race. Yeah. Kevin?
So as Joseph Newgarden's Hitachi Chevy gets worked on, look at the Rahal guys pushing Vips in the background. Tell us about Newgarden, Kev.
So I'm listening to Tim Cindric talking to the crew right now. They got the Bear Bond out there. I heard that we're going to have a wing change as well, but they want to keep him from losing another lap. So he said, let's go out right now and we'll come back in.
So needless to say, the turn 2 incident is under review and the start is under review. And for Christian Lundgaard, he had to take emergency service when the pits were closed. He is at the back in the Hy-V Honda. It has been an eventful beginning for Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan.
And Lundgaard could have very well ended up at the back anyways for avoidable contact penalty when he got into the side of Scott McLaughlin as Yuri Vips and the Custom Entertainment RLL crew is working on his car.
He could still technically be given that penalty and have a drive-through once we get back to racing, but important for Yuri Vips and the 30 crew. You see them back behind pit wall to get that car back on track because of what Dylan was speaking about, that leader circle race for that last position in the Leader Circle Championship is very important. That's a hefty financial benefit for any of the team. Top 22 teams
almost
get it.
$1 million bucks.
Almost $1 million in cash and support for the following season.
All right, this sets up nicely at the front. Poleman, Felix Rosenqvist, car clean and beautiful, yet to win this year. He's feeling good. He's got the newly crowned champ behind him. Then go back to the red and black Verizon Chevy, Will Power, yet to win, trying to keep a 16, 17-year streak with at least one win intact. Behind him, Pato O'Ward, yet to win this season. Looks good, car clean, made up a lot of positions. He's feeling good about life. Scott Dixon already got 2nd in the championship. Is there a penalty coming for the contact, though, with Rinus VeeKay? Then go to Colton Herter. Really controversial start. Has he got a penalty going? Then go to Alexander Rossi, yet to win this year. He's feeling good. Oh boy, it's mixed up nicely. And Felix Rosenqvist is saying, what's all the fuss?
Yeah.
I'm feeling good up front.
How about Alex Palou? It's been that kind of season for the driver of the 10. All smiles and everything just seems to line up at all the right times for Palou. Will Power's one I'm going to be watching here. This is his best opportunity of the season for a win.
Here we go, green flag. So Rosenqvist gets the jump in that papaya and light blue McLaren Chevy through the final turn, stretching their legs up the hill, over turn 1. And here we go again to get this Monterey, this Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey back underway.
It's cool up front, but I love that move from Canapino, diving on the inside of turn 11. You see a little bit of side-by-side action here now through turn 2. Rosenqvist with a nice jump up front, though, over Palou.
Oh, look at McLaughlin in the yellow and white car. He is anxious to get back to the front. That was a bold move inside 3.
And it worked. It worked really well. The XPEL Chevy is in the mix. And McLaughlin will be fuming inside that helmet.
He sure will. You see the tire compounds on the side of your screen there as a pass down the inside into turn 5 on Benjamin Peterson. That was Marcus. Oh, no, contact.
Benjamin Peterson got all kinds of sideways and had to check up, and McLaughlin got right into the back of him. Not McLaughlin's fault.
Wow, Elio Castro Neves stepped out. Did you see that? Through turn 6. Here they go, through the corkscrew. Di Francesco up at the front. Palou, turn 11. He's hassling race leader Felix Rosenqvist. The champion wants another win. Inside move by Palou on Rosenqvist. They hit. And Fro is off the track. Palou takes the lead.
Rosenqvist tried to crowd Palou to the apex, and Palou was having none of it. Dude, I've already won a championship. I got nothing to lose today. I'm going forward.
I got 5 of these trophies so far this year. I'm going to add a 6, so I'm going to make it a cool half dozen. And, man, that's a great aggressive move from Alex Palou to take the point. Rosenqvist down to 3rd now, and Will Power, the highest runner on those red, softer alternate Firestones, running in 2nd.
Palou says, I want a 6th win on the season. You know the last guy to do that? The driver chasing him, Will Power, back in 2011. Let's take you back and show you Palou's move. Final turn, here we go.
Yeah, Palou with a little shake and bake. He looked high, then ducked down low, and Rosenqvist trying to hold him down, and frankly, there's not much grip offline for Fro, so good hard racing, elbows out, and Will Power making the move up the front straightaway.
So this was Benjamin Peterson in the red car in front. He gets a little bit of a loose moment, has to jump off the throttle. I got to say, McLaughlin did a good job to avoid how much damage he potentially got. That one's actually under review right now.
Yeah, but
that
should
be an
30,
easy one.
That's number 35 in the queue.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on as the caution flag. Joseph Newgarden looks like maybe out of turn 4.
You're right, 4.
Exit of turn 4. We've seen a lot of incidents there throughout practice, T-Bell, but most of them end up drivers left on the outside of the track. He has spun back to the inside on driver's right.
My guess is he dropped wheels diff and had a big oversteer moment, hooked to the inside, but we'll have to wait for the replays. You can see Joseph shaking his head.
The Indy 500 winner has had a rough second half of the season. He was once a championship contender, and he's going to say, let's finish this season and bring on 2024, because the last few races, qualifyings have been rough. This is what happened to the Hitachi Chevy driver.
On his own.
Man, he didn't even drop a wheel. If you ever wonder why IndyCar drivers take their hands.
Something was going on at right-handers there.
So he had the contact earlier, but he was way back of the field.
That's a tough way to end the year for Joseph Newgarden, the Indy 500 champ. Beautiful day to be sitting on the hill, checking out the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. We're under the second caution of this race early on in this 95 lapper. And leading the field is the official pace car of the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey, and that is the 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid Racer. Unfortunately, one of the 27 drivers out of the race is Graham Rahal with Marty.
He's out of the infield care unit. What happened on that start of the race? Just chaos, seemed like, Graham.
Yeah, I don't really know. It felt like we were in a box there. I think, Colton jumped the start quite a bit and got a few rows up, and then everything got tight and condensed. And so, Grosjean, all of us were a little bit slow into one. But, I felt I left a lot of room to the inside for whatever kind of transpired. And I, clearly get wrong place, wrong time there. And unfortunately, I didn't see Armstrong at all. But unfortunately, we hit Yuri, we hit Joseph, we hit, God knows, I haven't even seen the full thing yet, but I feel like we hit everybody. I just told the medical staff I've seen them more than my wife this year. It's pretty pathetic, It feels like we just, we can't have the good fortune. I try to keep clean, try to give plenty of room. These young guys nowadays, they race, much more without the part up here, and we've got to be prepared for that, though. I do, and I thought I gave him plenty. Just came up short. I feel bad for IPAC. Everybody puts a lot into this team, and to not even get a lap with everybody here, a lot of sponsors here, it's disappointing.
Going green, Diff.
Yeah, frustrating there for Graham Rahal. Look at this, though. Will Power got squirrely in second, and Rosenquist is there to pounce, and Pato Award inside turn 2. Rosenquist, he wants to get back into the lead and back into second.
Talk about repaying the favor. Rosenquist looking very aggressive, shoulder to shoulder, just like Power put the move on him in 11. Rosenquist swings right back and hits hard.
He dragged his teammate Pato Award with him now up to third place. Power down to fourth. Now Scott Dixon in that blue and orange PNC bank machine is next in line. Colton Herta on his gearbox. It is all to play for, but it's interesting to see the difference between the primaries and the alternates right now. Will struggling to get the power down, Townsend.
And the truth is, on the tires, nobody has any idea what the red tires are going to do after about 6 laps. That's all anybody's seen through practice because of all the incidents, the fog delay this morning. It's a big mystery what's about to happen on the softer compound.
All these yellows at the start of the race have definitely opened up the theory of this two-stop strategy. Normally, this length of race is kind of a slam dunk 2-3 stopper, but now Dixon's going in.
It's a penalty. 45 and the 9 have been penalized. That is Scott Dixon and Christian Lundgaard. There has been nothing about the original start and Colton Herta.
Well, this would have been the contact that we saw for Christian Lundgaard. The one for Scott Dixon, we probably are referring to that incident with Rinus VeeKay just after turn 2, but maybe they let the start go. Maybe Colton actually didn't pull out till the green was thrown. So we're getting word from race control that, yes, the start was fine. No action on Colton or the jump start.
Hey, at Herta's house, it's house rules.
So he's on the maximum attack. Here is McLaughlin trying to work his way back also from race control. No action with the Peterson-McLaughlin incident. That's understandable because Peterson just got loose and McLaughlin was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And guys, how quickly Will Power has fallen back here on the Reds. I wonder if it's going to be a case of tire day coming much sooner than anybody expected. I thought it would be, you know, halfway through the stint. With all the yellow, there's not many laps on these red tires for Power.
And even though, you know, we didn't get much running on the Reds, most teams and drivers said, yeah, we still think they're going to be okay. Tried to save them. They used their warm-up set or their practice set and warm-up. Nobody was using the qualifying sets. But there are still certain drivers that prefer the primary. We talked to Alex Palou before the start of the show, and he said even if the Reds are decent, we're just happier on the primaries, so we know what their preferred tire is going to be. And right now, it looks like Power's struggling a bit on these Reds.
Let's take a look at this replay of Will Power and Felix Rosenqvist on the restart. Power was being defensive. Rosenqvist saw an opening, and he took it. Gave a little nerf there to Will Power, but frankly, level set with exactly how Power raced him in turn 11 on board here.
I would say Power's lucky that he didn't end up sideways. He pushed Felix all the way up onto that yellow curb. He was clearly there. Will got a bad run out of the last corner. He knew that Felix was going to be going for it. Did not honestly give him enough room, but both guys kind of got away with it.
That was a double whammy, wasn't it? Because Pato O'Ward got through as Rosenqvist in the NTT Chevy gets a little sideways through the corkscrew in his pursuit of Alex Palou, who has a 2.5-second lead.
Guys, last lap, Will Power was almost 2 seconds slower than Alex Palou on the Reds. Marty, I have to think that a lot of us expected this to be a red race, but you got to reconsider now based on the pace you're seeing out of the 12.
Well, and the other thing is, Townsend, with cycles, with heat cycles on those tires, I don't think that's doing the alternate tires any favors that Will Power has on right now. He hasn't really complained about the handling since that incident. He's complained about the contact, but not the handling, and those heat cycles certainly not helping him. Heating up, cooling them back down, and heating up again.
And talking about heat, James, already we started this morning with the track temp at 80 degrees. It's 120 now, up 40 degrees. This new dark black surface is soaking up the California sunshine, and that can't be helping those red tires.
It's only going to get worse. You know, that track temp's just going to keep creeping up as this race develops. But man, the pace that Palou has out front right now, I mean, you talk about the delta to Will Power back and forth. He's half a second quicker than anybody in the field right now as Alex Palou out front. This is deja vu all over again, guys. He won this race by 20-something seconds on the trot last year.
He walked away with it. Remember, now on this repaved circuit, increased speed, different conditions, same track, but a whole new story.
And the one thing that's deja vu for me was Scott Dixon. I know he didn't want a penalty, but Dixon pitting Kevin at lap 12 looks eerily familiar if you think back to Indianapolis.
I would not count him out. And remember, this is a fresh engine. The last time he had an engine change, he won at Gateway. We talked about Palou doing it last year, but when he was told about the penalty, he was shocked. Let's listen.
We have a drive-through penalty, but we need to serve it now. Avoidable contact, whoever that was that you hit there in turn 2. Are you kidding me? That's exactly what we said. Let's just go through the pit lane.
All right, so that's how they feel at Chip Ganassi Racing. Not too happy there, and there they are, the two that came to contact to cause that penalty. Want to tell you about something else that's going on. Alexander Rossi has been instructed to give up a position to the 78 of Augustine Canapino for blocking. Canapino, the Argentinian driver for Juncos Hollinger, has been on a mission today. He's up 12 positions in that black and green 78, and he is flying.
I was just going to say, it doesn't really matter that Rossi threw a block. Let's talk about the fact that Canapino's running up in the top 8 right now. He's 7th.
Not only that, he is all over the back of Roman Grosjean as we ride on board the Argentinian driver. This guy just learned English at the start of the season. Never been to any of these racetracks, no open wheel experience, and now finishing the season strong, running with the big dogs at the front of this field.
So if you look on your pylon, the little triangle, the little arrow at the right side of the numbers there, that indicates which tire compound the drivers are on. First 3 on the harder black sidewall primaries, then Will Power the first on the softer red sidewall alternates. But let's take a look at this block from Alexander Rossi on Canapino. You see Canapino pull out of turn 5, and then a reactive move from the 7 of Rossi. That's a pretty straightforward block there, and an easy call, Dylan.
Well, and remember, he qualified 13th. They're one of a handful of teams that had an engine penalty, so he had to start 19th. They got through that turn 1 melee, and now they're back to, I think, kind of where Augustine feels like they couldn't be running this weekend. You know, it is his first time here, as it has been to all these racetracks this year, but his progression each weekend, we've all noticed it, and he's just gotten so much better from the start of the year to the end of the year, and continues to impress, and now in a great position to have his best result of the year as well.
Maybe it was going back home to Argentina in a recent break, where he performed in front of about 80,000 passionate fans to see their 15-time national champion back home. This guy is a rock star in Argentina, and he is very quickly establishing himself as one to watch in the NTT IndyCar Series. Dixon back in.
This is not good.
Well, this is a pit stop this time, not a penalty, Kev. What's happening in the 9 pit?
Well, this is just going off strategy. Lap 17 is the earliest you can come in if it were to stay green the rest of the time and be able to do it on 2 more stops. We've seen him go off strategy and pull out a miracle before. By the way, you heard a little radio. That's only the half of it. Dixon is still venting. He is livid.
Well, watch out for lap times, because Scott Dixon has very fresh, almost new red tires and nobody in front of him. And let's go back to the start. You'll see Scott Dixon in the orange and blue PNC car. Watch at the exit of turn 2. He'll have a snap sideways and take out Rinus VeeKay. Right here.
Here it comes. Bang.
Here's the thing, though. Did Scott Dixon get some help from Colton Herta?
No, I think he was trying to avoid Colton and pinch it off a little bit, and that's sort of what made the wheel spin moment happen. That caused the correction and just fired him into Rinus. I sort of get the call from race control. There's nothing. Rinus was an innocent victim there. Nothing he could really do.
I'll tell you what, though. When Scott Dixon stepped out, he was awfully close to Colton Herta's front axle, and I wonder if that was just a little extra kick. It seemed like an unusually big moment for Scott Dixon.
It just seems like this surface is throwing these guys off as sticker reds are going on the number 11 of Marcus Armstrong. These guys just going off strategy. If there's someone that's going to pull off an off strategy, it's definitely Dixon.
And Armstrong kind of further back. Canapino, who's chasing him in the Rookie of the Year standings, surging forward. You're watching NBC's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Firestone Tires, for redefining the limits. iPacket, the official digital vehicle presentation tool of Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. Drive the truth. iPacket. And by NTT, official sponsor and technology partner of the NTT IndyCar Series. Well, it's a beautiful day here in California, but it's been an eventful race thus far, but not if you're Alex Palou. Some 7.8 seconds out in front in the American Legion Honda. He is in cruise mode over Felix Rosenqvist and Pato O'Ward. And then the guaranteed second place in the championship. This guy's teammate, Scott Dixon, has been forced to pit road a couple of times to serve a penalty for something that went down earlier in the race for avoidable contact. However,
and Dip, right before we went to break, I said on the helicopter shot that I think Colton Herta might have caused the incident where Dixon got into Rinus VeeKay. So I want to go back and look at some footage, because I think Scott Dixon did not deserve a penalty. On board here with Colton Herta. They exit turn 2. Watch to the left. Colton Herta clearly into the right rear of Scott Dixon. That's what got him sideways. That's what got him into Rinus VeeKay. Here you're going to see it again. Watch Dixon, and Colton Herta's in the black, white, and yellow car right here. Exiting turn 2. Herta already got to the back of VeeKay.
No, I think Scott gets loose, and that's what clips the front of Colton. So, man, that's a tough one. Because I agree there was contact, but it wasn't Colton's fault either.
It wasn't Dixon into VeeKay initially.
It was Dixon into Colton that spun him into VeeKay.
Maybe.
That's a tough one. That's a tough call both ways.
So Dixon soldiers on, fuming inside his helmet. Meanwhile, this is the Gainbridge Honda of Colton Herta, running in the top 5, trying to get his first win of this 2023 season. Where is he, though, big picture-wise? He's 15 seconds in arrears of the race leader, Alex Palou. That's a lot of work to do.
So Palou's put himself in a great position from a strategy standpoint. As we just kind of watch the hands of Colton Herta with this Gainbridge on board. Car looks pretty good on these primaries. Powers the car in front on the alternates, but Palou, with that kind of a gap, he can really see what happens with the other drivers on those alternate tires and then make a call. He's really in the driver's seat here as we go with some Firestone onboard telemetry here in the number 26.
Things appear to have stabilized for Will Power up front. That lap time initially seemed to drop quite a bit, but Power has figured it out.
And bar changes to both ends right there for Colin Herta. He's trying to do something to affect the handling because, again, running where he is behind Will Power, he's about a second behind, but that's well close enough to feel the effects of the dirty air coming off that number 12 car.
And that left-hand adjustment looked to be stiffening the rear roll bar, so sharpening up the back of the race car to help compensate for the loss of front downforce running in dirty air behind Power.
So the order is Palou, Rosenquist, O'Ward, Power, and then this man Herta. But for the newly crowned two-time champ, this day could not be any better. And he's trying to do what Herta did a few years ago. That is win back-to-back here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. He and wife Esther are expecting their first baby later this year. It's going to be around about Thanksgiving. So there's a lot of joy in the Palou household right now. And the news just keeps on coming. Let's find out a little bit more with Marty Snyder. Marty?
Yeah, let's catch up with Mark Miles, the president and CEO of the Penske Entertainment Corp. Well, what a great season. You got Alex Palou as champion. Terrific ratings this year. I mean, how good has this season been for IndyCar, Mark?
It really has been a fantastic 23 championship, and I love today. Alex has clinched it already. He's out there trying to win his 6th. I think it shows how competitive this series has been for so many years, and what an amazing year that Alex Palou's had.
Yeah, so the announcement this morning, I want to talk about this, racing for $1 million next year. Tell me more about that, Mark.
Yeah, we wanted to mix it up in March, so we're going to Palm Springs at the Thermal Club. We're going to have 2 heat races, 6 teams, 6 cars will come out of each heat and race for $1 million for the winner. It'll be a really great way to have us have our first test, but also see who wants to win $1 million.
Saw Elio Castroneves spin there a moment ago, and now he's off the track once again. Mark, good catching up with you, bud. Diff.
Oh boy, and he almost went into Alex Palou, the race leader. Elio, one side to the track to the other, spinning, gets it going again. He's got his hands full.
That was crazy.
What a dodge from Alex Palou there. That could have been a day ender. We saw Elio spin coming out of turn 2, getting back going. Tried to race Benjamin Peterson into turn 3. Bit of contact, pitched him off sideways there. Let's take a look at it. That was a little too much action. So here we go. Coming out of 2, way wide, just offline. Like we said, it's so slippery. Around he goes.
Looked like the Wolf of Wall Street trying to get home in the Lambo, because it gets sideways again in the next corner.
Well, he has a little bit of help in the next corner. He keeps it running. You see Benjamin Peterson in that red car coming up now. Clearly has, he's on track. He has the right. Elio being a little bit cheeky, trying to force the issue there, and it ends up with him going off again.
Yeah. Watch this.
Crucially, right in front of our race leader.
Here we go. Alex Palou's like, hey, I'm here. Elio has no idea that he's there. He can't see him. So that was a lucky escape for both drivers. And again, if you weren't with us at the top of the show, it's the final full-time IndyCar drive for the 4-time Indianapolis 500 winner. He'll be back at Indy next year. The drive for 5 continues, and he has a minority stake in the team he drives for with now. Yes, so he'll have his owner's cap on next year, part of Meyer Shank Racing. Final drive in the Auto Nation Honda as a full-time IndyCar driver. What an incredible career it has been for Elio. And this, his 391st start.
That is wild.
Amazing run, so much success at so many different kinds of racetracks. And what I love about Elio is he just hasn't lost any enthusiasm. You know, when he shows up in Indianapolis in May, he will have the same bounce in his step that he had as a rookie over 20 years ago, and he'll be in contention one way or another to win it.
First of the front runners are in. Here we go, Kev. Rosenquist coming your way.
He said once he got everything settled to move on to Meyer Shank Racing, it has relaxed him. He's been free, finished second last weekend at Portland. Pole running second right now. This is his sticker set, the new set of alternates. What I'm hearing a lot of is everybody's going to run this in their second stint and then decide if they want to run it again later.
You have to run, sorry Dave, you have to run a sticker set of the alternates, the red sidewall tires, which is what Felix has put on, but you do have some U sets from qualifying that you can go to if you feel like the alternate's the better tire for you. Now a very important out lap here for Felix in these green flag pit cycles. The in and out laps are everything.
And the out lap in clean air is huge. Rosenquist has about 5 seconds of clean air in front until he gets to the back of Callum Eilert. That's another thing you look for. You can't always plan it perfectly, but if you can come out without being in traffic, that's a big deal.
I know that this guy has just stopped in the NTT Data Chevy, but how about a little further back? Augustine Canapino has added another position. He's up 13 now, and his teammate Callum Eilert is also in the top 10. Here's the next Arrow McLaren Chevy to stop. Marty, awards coming your way.
Comes in from second. Pretty happy with the handling of the race car, just saying the conditions so very tough on the drivers. So they started on the primary tires, going to a set of sticker primary tires again, so they will still have to run the reds later in the race.
Wonder where he blends relative to Felix Rosenquist. Pato Award reaches the end of pit speed. Rosenquist on the front straightaway. You'll see him in the brake zone shortly. There's the orange and blue McLaren as he gets hit by Marcus Ericsson.
And the tire's down. And then the 8 spins because he goes offline. The left rear of Felix Rosenquist in the orange and blue car is down. Both cars still running. The yellow flag. Oh no. Ericsson punching the steering wheel. Looks like he stalled it.
That's a Swedish spin. Ericsson, Rosenquist.
So when did Rosenquist's tire get cut down? Oh no!
It got cut when Marcus hit him.
When he hit him, and then he didn't really know the full extent of it. And now he does.
Well, a little too late now, but you probably should have. That's too bad that someone from the team wasn't on the radio to tell him that. As Palou dove into the pits before the yellow came out, hopefully.
I was going to say we're going to have to check that to make sure they did get on pit road before the yellow did come out for Alex Palou, who's been the dominant car to this point. Very happy with the handling of the car. Leaves pit road. Let's make sure they made it on before that caution came out and before pit road was closed. And that's also going to be a massive break for Pato Ward, who already had made his stop from second. We'll see where all this cycles out.
So normally there is a timing system that tells you as soon as the yellow comes out, if your car crosses the pit line, the commit line after the yellows come out, it'll IM the team, and the team will say drive through, don't stop. So the fact that he stopped tells me I think Palou had another lucky break and got in.
But those that couldn't stop, like Colton Herta and Will Power, they were in and living dangerously in the danger zone, and they got hit. So they'll pit under yellow and fall back many positions from the cars that have already made their first stop.
A day that started with so much promise for Felix Rosenquist on the pole position. And his final drive for Arrow McLaren has ended, well, maybe not ended, but it's for the time being in the gravel trap. We're going to see that Honda Civic Type R pace car back out on the track for our third caution here today, back under yellow. What a day it has been so far here in California. Eventful to say the least. And a close call for the newly crowned champion, Alex Palou, Chip Ganassi Racing in the American Legion Honda. Have a look at this. When that yellow came out, he dives to the pits, and check it out. Watch the yellow light come on, and watch where he is as far as pit lane commitment line. Watch this. Gets over it. He's in. When does the yellow come on? Plenty of time.
Well saved.
No worries.
Well saved.
That was a great heads up, last minute on the fly call by the 10 stand to get their driver in.
Look at this, Ericsson on his countryman Rosenquist. Big old hit at the Andretti hairpin. Rosenquist was able to fire it back up again, didn't realize the extent of that puncture. Maybe there he did, I'm not sure. And then Ericsson couldn't fire up his Husky Honda.
If you look closely, the puncture is right away from that contact, so I thought it might have happened earlier. But at this point, with the right front in the air,
yeah, he knows it's punctured. As a driver, you know, you feel that even on this little section here. So just not cautious enough. Oh, didn't really have a chance. I mean, hits the brakes, and
he didn't know what he was dealing with until the brake zone, really. So trying to hustle back, keep it on the lead lap, and that's a brutal end. By the way, I should correct myself. Earlier, it was Alex Palou that had contact with Felix Rosenquist in 11, not Will Power. Yeah, here's a replay again from turn 3 on the outside. Gravel traps are brutal in terms of really ending your race, but great from a safety standpoint. They've done a good job all weekend with these ultra-high corner speeds to keep cars out of the wall.
So the NTT Data Chevy fires up again and fights on in this Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey, but it has not worked out the way that Felix Rosenquist would have liked. And look at all the messages of support, and he's made so many great friends at Arrow McLaren, and especially with one of his teammates who he spent the longest time with in Pato O'Ward. But it's on to Meyer Shank Racing next year. I spoke to Mike Shank briefly this morning. I said, how about your new signing on the pole position? He said, I like what we've got. So a lot of drivers in new colors and new teams next year when we will see you at the season opener. By the way, when we heard from the CEO of Penske Entertainment in the series, Mark Miles, before with Marty, that thermal $1 Million Challenge is after the St. Pete, the opener of the season. So it's going to be in March. So we look forward to that. It's going to be a lot to look forward to in the new season. But Kevin Lee, we're not even done yet with 2023.
So you just documented how Alex Palou was able to get in and pit while it was still open. Colton Herta is not very pleased that he did not get that opportunity.
You'll have to pit again next when they open the pits.
I just don't get it. You got last week and you got a guy in the middle of the track for 4 laps. We let everybody pit.
And he had to come in for emergency service because he was going to run out of fuel, so that's why he's dropped back, and he has to pit again here now coming up in a few moments when it opens.
So Colton is referencing last weekend at Portland. The difference is, I guess, there was contact.
Car-to-car contact. That's the big difference.
That's why they went instantly yellow.
Last week in Portland, Canapino spun by himself as the pits open now, and a lot of these leaders have to dive in.
Yeah, brutal for Will Power here, Marty. He was doing so well. Got lucky. Benefited on the start to move up and then had pace settling in, and now he's going to drop all the way back.
Colton Herta just drove into the back of Alex Rossi coming around that tight right-hander. And let's get down to Marty with Power.
There are a lot of frustrated drivers, Hinch, if you can't tell on the radio. Will Power was concerned he might not be able to make it actually to pit road. And we talked about that alternate stint for Will Power. He actually said the tires held on much better than he thought. Callum Ilott leaving pit road as well. He is on alternate tires. And you see the 8 car having to be pushed back into a stalled at leaving pit road. Wow, what a sequence of events for the 8 team and Marcus Ericsson over the last 10 minutes.
What's happened with the 7 as well there, Marty? He wasn't in. I wasn't sure if there was contact maybe, but bad to worse for Ericsson.
Go check, and Rossi was one of those who had to make emergency service on the last stop, so we'll go see what happened with him on this stop as well.
So
the air jacks weren't working.
Yeah, not going to plan there for sure. So Rossi is released. Check this out from the Gainbridge Honda.
Is there any chance that the air inlet was damaged on the back of Rossi's car
with
and they
this
couldn't
hit,
plug in?
Oh, sorry, he didn't hit him. I take that back. I said Colton maybe got into him. That just shows how slick this new pavement is, even in pit lane.
So, well, the day isn't working out for these guys as planned. I tell you what, the sun is shining on drivers like Pato O'Ward, Romain Grosjean, Augustine Canapino, and Santino Ferrucci, who are all on very similar strategies to race leader Alex Palou.
How about Devlin DiFrancesco in the 29, who's up 17 positions from the start? He runs 9th. So many drivers with a shot for their best finish of the season or careers.
Unreal.
But coming into this restart, you've got Palou's won 5, wants a 6, but Pato O'Ward, one of those drivers we talked about, he's got 0. He desperately wants it. There on your screen, Devlin DiFrancesco, like I said, up 17 spots.
That Sapphire car is Sapphire clean.
Rub your hands together. We're far from over. Still 61 to go here at Laguna. You're watching NBC's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Hy-Vee. This racing season, you can help Hy-Vee reach their goal of 100 million meals by visiting Hy-Vee.com. Custom Entertainment. We're not just passionate about entertainment, we helped define it. And by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Look at the day we have for you here on California's Central Coast. Welcome back. Lee Diffie, Townsend Bell, James Hinchcliffe with you. Marty Snyder's back for the season finale. Kevin Lee, Dylan Welsh. It's been an awesome weekend. How's it going to finish? Will it end with the newly crowned champ defending his victory here at this track of a year ago. Will Pato O'Ward get that elusive victory of 2023? Christian Lundgaard add another one. Look at Grosjean in the yellow and red DHL Honda. His last drive for Andretti. He'd love to get his first IndyCar win, and Peterson has gone around. That's affected one of the Hulkos Hollinger cars. I think it's Ilon.
And Elio Castroneves as well. Caution is out as the 55.
Oh, Ferrucci. That's a strange place to go off at very high speed.
Never seen a car off there, T-Bell. It's just mayhem on these restarts with this new surface. Offline, so slippery. We saw all the mayhem down there in turn 11.
So, the two AJ Foyt Racing Chevys with issues on that lap. Benjamin Peterson, first of all, in the final corner, and then the Sexton Properties Chevy of Santino Ferrucci up and over the hill, which is turn 1 here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. What happened to the driver who finished top 3 at this year's Indy 500? That was a wild ride.
You see some rubber on the nose of his car, but maybe it's from something else. Got to think Ferrucci had some help as further back.
Behind the 2 green cars, you see, he's the black car. Goes up the inside of Marcus Armstrong. He's not quite there. How does he end up on the outside? McLaughlin's trying to go around him. That's what happened to his teammate.
Yeah, meanwhile, chaos at the back there with Peterson and Elio Castroneves coming together. Here's Ferrucci making a move. Look at David Malukas diving in on DiFrancesco.
Keep watching Ferrucci. He's got McLaughlin to his outside. Did McLaughlin tag him maybe accidentally to send that black mobile out wide? Too hard to see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I just saw a puff of smoke. Oh, boy.
Wow. What a save. What a save on the asphalt. What a save on the dirt from Santino Ferrucci. We've seen him have some impressive avoidance of accidents in the past, but that was an incredible save. And like you say, Townsend, a really high-speed section.
At least 150 miles an hour up under the bridge.
Tag that to his 2019 Indy 500.
Hey, look at this.
Oh, he got checked out.
That was by Armstrong, I think, ahead.
Why did Ferrucci lift right there?
Because Armstrong checked up, I think.
But what happened in front of Armstrong? That's a weird spot for a checkup. I don't know what happened there, but that was a chain reaction.
Yeah, nothing really McLaughlin could do there, but still, phenomenal job to hang on to it. And he's only down to 11th. He only lost a couple spots, which is pretty impressive.
If there's a Houdini in the series, it's Santino Ferrucci. He did it in Indy, and now it's in California.
Just part of his DNA. It kind of feels like we've said this before. We're under caution here at the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey. Yes, we're not even halfway through, and this is the 4th full course caution of this season finale, the 2023 NTT IndyCar Series. Nothing's changed up front. It's still Alex Palou and Pato O'Ward, but then there's a couple of interesting stories in Romain Grosjean and Augustine Canapino and Scott McLaughlin. And wow. As a result, and here comes McLaughlin, dives for the pits in that yellow and white XPEL Chevy. Scott Dixon most recently pitted as well. So despite coming down pit road some 3 times, he is still in 14. The 14th, the Verizon Chevy of Power has been sent to the back for avoidable contact for turning Benjamin Peterson around, I think also collecting Callum Ilott as well.
Yeah, watch all the way at the back. You can see the bright red car, candy apple red car of Benjamin Peterson, and here comes Will Power. That's a pretty easy call for race control. Power locked up, sliding into the back of the 55 and getting him turned. McLaughlin had front wing damage and also has a back of the field penalty. It won't matter because he's got to make this extended service.
Surprised he did get a penalty for that, because like we said, it was a checkup situation on a flat out straightaway. Surprise. We'll take another look here. This is on the previous restart, side by side with Santino Ferrucci. He's in the black car with the red rear wing end fence, and watch this. A little checkup in front of both of them caused Santino to lift.
Yeah.
I wonder, did it start with, was that Canapino in front of Marcus Armstrong? Maybe?
It is. It's tough to tell. Somebody checked up, and that's a section where for McLaughlin, he doesn't have a choice. He's caught off guard just like everybody else. Let's head back down to pit lane with Kevin.
Well, we saw some come in and top off, including Scott Dixon. You know who's good at saving fuel? It's Scott Dixon, among others, but don't count him out at this point. They are looking to do it on one more stop, but puts them back in play, Dylan.
And that's the plan as well for Christian Lundgaard. They've had an eventful day, some contact, a front wing change. They came down and topped off here, and they're the leader of this kind of alternate strategy. He'll restart in the 11th spot, but they're going to try to make it on one more stop as well. Another Honda car for Lundgaard.
We will see. It's that kind of a day, isn't it?
I like these calls for Lundgaard and Armstrong, Dixon, all those Honda cars. We're going to have two different strategies to the end, and for Alex Palou on this restart, he's going to have to crack open a can and get after it, because he's going to want to open up a gap, because he'll have to make 2 stops to the finish to the 1 stop of the alternate strategy.
What's that a can of?
Vegemite.
That comes in a jar. So, reset, brace yourself, take a big breath, get ready to go. Other than a somewhat close call on making it into the pits before the full course yellow came out the time prior for Alex Palou, it's been a relatively smooth day. A little bit of a contact with Felix Rosenqvist at the final turn, but other than that, it's been smooth going on this brand new surface at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca.
Stops. We need a little bit of a gap here.
Now,
let's get ready for the restart.
Problem for Palou is he has got some overly hungry, if not starving drivers behind, starving for a victory, that is. O'Ward, no wins. Grosjean, no wins. Canapino, no wins. Malukas, no wins. Di Francesco, no wins. Ferrucci, no wins. Look out, the Wolves are at the gate. And they want to eat. They are ready to go, but they're up against the now 2-time IndyCar Series champion.
Fine, Palou, I want to run this one early, try to actually get everybody through the first 2 corners of this lap and get this race back running, because he was so dominant when we had that green flag run earlier.
Watch Pato, watch that black and red arrow McLaren Chevy.
Green.
O'Ward on Palou. We're back to racing. Green is the call from race control. Here we go, down the front stretch. How close is O'Ward? Look at Grosjean in the Andretti Honda, the DHL machine. Is there a big move here for position?
Defensive position from the number 10, but now Grosjean trying to go around the outside in that yellow and red machine.
That sets you up for the next turn, but he's gone too far. Augustine Canapino is there to pounce.
No grip on the outside of turn 2. Grosjean loses at least 2 spots. He still has dirt on the right-hand side of his right tires. They'll clean up on this straightaway, but risk versus reward. Tough lesson for Grosjean there. Pato O'Ward looking pretty defensive, and Canapino is in 3rd.
Canapino is running legit 3rd. We talked about that rookie of the year battle. He's not going to pull it off there. That's a tough spot into 6th, but we said he basically had to finish on the podium if he had any chance of catching Marcus Armstrong, and that's where he's running.
How aggressively did Pato O'Ward defend there? We just
look out, look at Grosjean up the inside, and so too
how about
Ferrucci.
Ferrucci, you couldn't put a piece of paper between his right sides and Devlin Di Francesco.
That was a nice move, and we've seen Grosjean do that before in years prior here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. The big move
Guys,
is going to be the black and green car.
Canapino is legit. He has great pace.
He's got those red tires on right now. They're a little bit softer. Should, in theory, be a little bit faster than the black sidewall primaries that O'Ward's running right now. But you can hear even he's lifting, trying to save some fuel.
Yeah, I think, look at Scott Dixon now on his teammate Marcus Ericsson.
Ericsson a lap down already.
But Scott Dixon on chaotic days, like we've had already at Laguna Seca, Kevin, Scott Dixon, you can never count him out. He's had a penalty. He's had to make unscheduled pit stops. He is flirting with the top 10 already at half distance.
Did you say penalty? Because there's another one coming, this time for Scott McLaughlin and his teammate Will Power, a drive-through for pitting after a repositioning penalty. So they've got to come again.
Wow.
The day has gone away from Team Penske, that's for sure. All 3 drivers have had adversity. It's not been a memorable day for the right reasons in California for the captain's man.
And a lot of people on pit lane, a lot of strategists probably looking for the challenge flag. If this was the NFL, those would be flying, but no chance to appeal a penalty in race. It is final as Malukas trying to come back on Grosjean. Down the front straight they come. And we really haven't had a chance, Hinch, to get a good read on tire wear. It's just been so interrupted with yellow flags. So waiting for a long run here to see what the degradation really is like. Track temp 122.
Guys, another thing that's super incredible to look at right now, we talked about it at the top of the show, this Leader Circle Championship is absolutely on fire right now. Look at where those cars sit. You see the Foyt car, the 06 from Meyer-Shank, 20 from ECR, the 78, the 29, the 60 from Meyer-Shank. Look at how they're running right now. You've got Canapino up in the top 10. You've got Ferrucci in the top 10. You've got Devlin DiFrancesco, the 29 in the top 10. You've got Ryan Hunter-Ray in the 20 in the top 10. You've got Blomqvist in the top 10. These guys are all having the race of the year for these respective cars, and right when it counts, this is so important. Who's above that 22 cut line at the end of this race?
Cash money on offer if you can finish in the top 22.
The series pays a substantial amount of money to those teams full-time that are committed to this championship, and you finish within the top 22. How about a 21-year-old driver running towards the front, David Malukas, the black, white, and red car right there, the youngster from Chicago, Illinois. He is beside himself with joy at the moment. He has been handed the opportunity of a racing lifetime, because come next year, he's going to be in Papaya, McLaren Papaya, and he took a selfie with the legend and team advisor Tony Kanaan. He said it's not official until you get the TK selfie. Yes, it is official, David. You are headed to drive for Zach Brown and the McLaren Racing organization. He has made his name with Dale Coyne Racing like so many others have, and now he's off to one of the big teams.
Huge opportunity, that's what it's all about, and it's great in IndyCar to see driver talent rewarded. Big contracts now being thrown around this series from front to back. There's little teams swinging with big offers for driver talent, and Malukas taking advantage of it. What does Colton Herta have there?
Looks like maybe one of the tear-offs.
Sort of bunched up there on his nose or aero screen, but let's take a look. It looks like it might be up on the nose. As we look out the back of Alexander Rossi, it's more than a tear-off, James. That's a big contact turning up the nose of Colton Herta's race car.
Yeah, it's Alex Rossi. He hit. He's into turn 5. This is on board with Colton. Oh, wow. That camera's not doing so hot. Big damage there on the front of the number 26.
Talk about NBC it.
And they're two guys who have not had the best of seasons. They're running 9th and 10th in the points.
And then Rossi's
cut tire, maybe.
That's that super fast, super physical turn 9. You got to be so careful rejoining the track here. Rossi doing a great job blowing the car down.
Rough day for the former teammates.
Yeah, I got to think Colton Herta is going to see a drive-through for that. Huge damage to the nose cone.
Driving in that retro paint scheme, that design scheme, mirroring his dad's car when he drove for Ray Hall and won here in the late 1990s. His dad won twice, Colton's won twice. He was hoping to make it a family 3 today, but not to be for the younger Herta. Still stays out, not diving for the pits just yet, as we fast approach halfway the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey. You're watching NBC's coverage of IndyCar, brought to you by Hy-Vee. You can help Hy-Vee reach their goal of 100 million meals by visiting Hy-Vee.com. Shell Renewable Race Fuel, powering progress at 225 miles per hour. And by Firestone, for redefining the limits. What a gorgeous day. On a memorable day, it's the championship finale in the NTT IndyCar Series and the final drive for Andretti in IndyCar for Romain Grosjean. Last time you see him in these DHL colors for this team, he's been towards the front, then kind of pushed a little bit too hard on the last restart, lost several positions, and is rolling the dice with a different kind of strategy. Building back to speed. Meanwhile, up front, Palou and O'Ward. There's 3.7 seconds between these top two from Chip Ganassi Racing and Arrow McLaren.
And this is the gap that we're going to want to be mindful of, is Marcus Armstrong here in the number 11, 16 seconds back of Palou. Alex Palou wants to open that gap to about 25 at least seconds so that he can make 2 more stops to the end. Armstrong, we think, can make it on 1 more stop. So that's going to be really interesting. Both Chip Ganassi Racing drivers So Marty, for Chip Ganassi, just like in the championship, he's swimming in whipped cream. He's covered on both strategies.
And same for Pat O'Ward right behind him in second place. They told Alex Palou before this restart, we're on a two-stop strategy. We cannot do it on one stop. But from your teammate Marcus Armstrong, who then was in 10th, and Scott Dixon, Colton Herta, they all think they can do it in one stop. So what we want you to do, go as hard as you can. To your point, Townsend, build up that gap as much as you can. Palou said, I like it. They like running hard. You always like running hard behind the wheel, don't you, James? You don't love saving fuel.
No, it's the worst. I mean, drivers want to drive on the limit at all times. Saving fuel, it's not fun, but sometimes it's the fastest way to get to the checkered flag first.
So watching lap times diff, last lap Alex Palou was 2 seconds faster than Armstrong, so he's getting it done on pace.
However, if that strategic call by Chip Ganassi Racing on this car pans out, this could be one of those 20 drivers who have not seen victory lane yet this year. Maybe one for that he could have got at Road America this year.
But if he gets past, it'll be another Chip Ganassi driver, Scott Dixon. So Armstrong could be in a situation driving for his first win with his teammate and 6-time champion right behind him. Meanwhile, there's a rookie battle also happening.
And there you go, points as they run in the rookie battle. Armstrong still going to hang on to it, 13 points to the good over Canapino, despite Canapino running up in a podium position, but still being inside the top 10 for Armstrong will be enough to solidify the position. But man, what a run for this guy right here.
What if Armstrong wins Rookie of the Year, but Canapino gets the podium? Armstrong hasn't had a podium
this year. That'll
be like a little bit of a get back there. This is and I want you to hear me correctly, this is a 33-year-old rookie. Yes, he's no spring chicken, but he is a phenomenal champion from his home country of Argentina. And he has adapted to IndyCar racing beautifully as you check out his Firestone telemetry.
And if you're used to watching Laguna Seca through the years, let's just ride and listen to all of this grip available from the new asphalt.
I think the other thing when you think about Canapino in comparison to Marcus Armstrong, the young New Zealander who has come all the way up through open wheel racing, Canapino did not. Comes from touring car racing. We've told that story before, but it's worth saying again because how remarkable the transition is. Very much like Scott McLaughlin and how quickly he adapted to open wheel racing at this level.
And I'll tell you, on a day when the track temp is close to 125 degrees, Canapino, no stranger to high temperatures, but the grip and the physicality that he's feeling in the cockpit, Dylan, has got to be in an all-time high. Those G-forces over 4 Gs in turn 9 that he just went through.
And he said that yesterday to me after qualifying. He said, I cannot believe how much grip this place has. But I go back to what Ricardo Juncos, the team owner, told me at Indianapolis. You know, Augustine came to the U.S. from Argentina with 15 touring car championships to his name. So Ricardo knew he was talented, but he said his mental toughness has been so eye-opening to me. It's incredible. As you mentioned, he learned English in 5 months. He fully immersed himself in IndyCar racing in a very short amount of time over the offseason. He's impressed all year, but his talent that has been evident all year has certainly been on display so far again today.
It's a great story. Terrific story. And he's made a couple of errors here and there, but you'd expect that as a rookie. But on the whole, Hinch, not really. Not too many big hiccups for this guy.
No, very minimal. He's just been, I don't want to say picture perfect, but pretty close. As you watch him climb up the hill here to that famous corkscrew, over 10 stories of a drop down through this iconic corner, and then turn 9 here, this most physical corner on the track. The steering weight's over 200 pounds. Imagine holding a 100-pound dumbbell in each arm and trying to turn the wheel. That's one corner of 1 lap for these drivers. We got a 95-lap race on an 11-corner track. This is an absolute physical challenge for these pilots.
That is a great...
5 more laps and go to blacks here. Copy?
And he's running his own strategy.
That's a great analogy. That's a great analogy. Let's show you what a rock star this guy is in his homeland. Check these images out from recently, a few weeks back. He went back to Buenos Aires to race touring cars. Look at the crowd, and the majority of them are there to watch him. Incredible. They love him. And he's had a good amount of fans that continue to grow and wait for him here at each and every stop of the IndyCar Series as Grosjean back up to speed after that most recent stop, and he gets a position on David Malukas.
Did it again. He got Malukas into the corkscrew before, earlier in the race. Now they've both pitted fairly recently. Lap 48 for Grosjean, lap 52 for Malukas, so he's just come out of the pits.
What's happening here? Was that Tom Blomqvist in trouble, or was it Elio? I just got a quick look there. It's Tom Blomqvist in the 60, the sports car champ, who's come to IndyCar. This will be his full-time ride next year in the Sirius Satellite Radio, Sirius XM Satellite Radio Honda. Now, is the physicality side starting to get to Blomqvist, or was it time to pit?
Well, time to pit because he's on that same strategy as Alex Palou. Meanwhile, Marcus Armstrong and Scott Dixon are battling out. Those are the two cars that are on strategy B at the front. The 11 and the 9. Remember, Marcus Ericsson is a lap down in the red and white car. But we'll show you a strategy graphic to help make this a little more clear. Strategy A, that's Palou, Award, Canapino. They're going to pit any second now. Strategy B, these guys only need one more stop to make it to the end.
I mentioned the physicality side of things with Blomqvist because after Hinch painted that beautiful picture about the dumbbells, Tom has been very open and honest about how it's tough for him to get up to speed in IndyCar, no power steering.
That's just it. One of the biggest differences from the GTPs that he's been running is the power steering, which IndyCars don't have, so big physicality difference.
Dylan, what's happening with Ferrucci?
Well, let's listen to some radio and hear their game plan for Ferrucci. He runs 4th right now.
Do you want me to push? Try to hang with the 18, yeah. I want you to try to hang with the 18 and the 78. It's just too big a number for us to make it on one more, and we've seen a lot of yellow.
And they're on the reds right now, too, so not desirable for going long and trying to stretch it. So Ferrucci will have to come in here in just a few laps.
So, guys, how fast is Alex Palou? Well, we talked about a 25-second gap to Armstrong that he needs, and it's just about there to be able to pit and get back out in front of those that are on the alternate strategy.
And the other thing to remember is when those guys come in on the alternate strategy for their last stop, they still have a massive fuel number to hit. They're going to have to drive to a pace where this guy here, Alex Palou, he can drive as hard and as fast as he wants. So it's still looking more and more like it's going to fall into the hands here of the 10.
Think about the mental fortitude of this guy. Last year and this year, litigation between two race teams, and still able to be at the front, challenge for a championship, and then win a championship with a massive kind of dark cloud above him. His mental fortitude is on another level.
Really just doesn't seem to affect him at all. I mean, he's had more off-track distraction in the last 18 months than any IndyCar driver I can remember from a business standpoint. Drivers have had personal issues with family or injuries and that kind of thing, but in terms of Palou's off-track distractions, Marty, it's been an absolute case of like Law and Order.
It's been crazy to watch over the last 2 years, Townsend, and you also take into account what happens on a race team when they think you're not going to be there next year. That information is not really shared with you as much. That happened to Alex Palou this year. Kind of got shut out from the information of the team. So what the 10 team, winning 5 races, winning a championship, they did it on their own island. That makes it even more impressive. Pit stops for these 2 leaders coming up here in the next lap or so.
All right, let's have a look at a pit stop window prediction powered by NTT. Hinch, let's have a look at it.
So here we go. You can see right now, Pato O'Ward dives to the pits. That's in the window as we see Malukas. He's off. Devlin DeFrancesco in the blue car.
Palou doesn't need this. Palou needs to get in if Malukas gets stuck.
This could really fall into O'Ward's hands.
Oh. Hey, Palou has already gone past pit road, guys. But O'Ward is on pit road in time. If this winds up being a caution, this could flip it for Pato O'Ward and Arrow McLaren, still looking for their first win.
Oh, no.
And that is the caution. Huge break for Pato O'Ward, and everyone here in the 10 pit just kind of pounds their fist, saying, man, that was an opportunity missed.
Danger zone.
Leading the charge for the non-winners this year, Pato O'Ward, 7 podiums without a win. Could today be the day? Is this the change of fortune for champion Alex Palou? Gets caught out by this 5th and most recent caution. It could finally be Pato's day.
Well, and this also really helps Armstrong and Dixon because now they're going to get great mileage to extend themselves into the final stop. Lap 58. So that means there are 37 laps to the finish. It's an awkward situation for Pato O'Ward because he's going to need a lot of yellow to make it to the end without stopping.
So here's how it happened. This is down into turn 2. Devlin DiFrancesco on the outside there, crowding Malukas on the inside, side by side into 3. What happens here? Oh, Dev just loses the rear as soon as he touches the brakes.
Another example of just being offline and being caught out by the lack of grip when you're not on the rubbered groove of the track.
See, it's all very respectful, giving room here, and then like you say, in that dirty part of the racetrack, as soon as Dev hits the brakes, the rear end steps out, and he drives into Malukas. Malukas, innocent victim there. But again, the yellow comes out immediately because of that car-to-car contact.
IndyCar consistent with what they've done all season. That's important to commend them for consistency.
There was a lot of build-up as to how this race was going to run, being repaved. Now we know. It's wild. You're looking at Spain's Alex Palou, driver of the American Legion Honda, who has dominated this race. He's led 51 laps so far, but being on the wrong side of this most recent caution, he finds himself mired in the pack, and it doesn't only hurt Palou, it hurts Augustine Canapino, who was having such a great run for Hilco's Hollinger Racing, Santino Ferrucci as well. But Marty, it didn't hurt Pato O'Ward. He was in at the right time, but not the same fortune for Alex Palou.
Boy, that's how quickly things can flip when a caution comes out at the wrong time. Palou's led 51 laps to this point, and I don't think he realized the gravity of the situation until he pulled off of pit road, and he said, we're behind all of these guys now. Sitting in 15th, Alex Palou's going to have to race his way here back to the front if he can. He did ask, can we do this on this being our final stop? They said, no, we're likely going to have to pit one more time. So Dylan Palou's been dominant, but he's got some work ahead of him.
And so here's the interesting thing about 2 other cars that just pitted under that yellow. Augustine Canapino was running second. They pitted, and I believe they're going to be on the same plane here as Santino Ferrucci. The Chevys have been getting decent mileage today. They're telling both these guys, save as much as you can, high gears under yellow, and then maybe if they do get another yellow, they may be able to make it without having a stop. That's the plan for Ferrucci. Save as much as they can at every opportunity they can and try to not be on pit road anymore.
It would take a ton of yellow for that to work out for Canapino and Ferrucci, but it's possible, Div, based on what we've seen today. 22 laps of caution so far, and even under caution, we've had incidents with the 77 and the
Kyle Kirkwood, I believe. Watch, Kirkwood comes around. I think Kirkwood stops.
No, he stopped. I think.
No, here's Kirkwood's coming. Watch. Wait. Watch to the bottom.
Yeah, he just comes to a stop. I think Callum Islet just lost it on his own on the power.
You saw, I think it was Rossi earlier. Look at the thumbs up from Kirkwood. Not too thrilled about this.
Hey, what are you doing there, Callum?
Bad to worse for Kirkwood.
Oh, man.
Not his day.
On a weekend that was looking so promising for the 2-time winner this year.
Hey, Diff.
I know what you're about to say. I know what you're about to say.
I mean, early on in this race, we see Scott Dixon with a penalty.
I knew
we hear
you were
Scott
going to
Dixon
go there.
furious on the radio. Scott Dixon at the back of the field with damage. Scott Dixon, third, can probably make it on just one more stop. Looking pretty good once again.
Yeah, I mean, Pato O'Ward's going to try the same thing. We know he's got to go to Reds for that final stint. I think he's the only car that hasn't satisfied the tire rules. If our information is correct, you have to run one set of the blacks and one set of the Reds in the race.
For those of you just turning on or joining us, let's get you up to speed with what has gone down on a very eventful Firestone Grand Prix. A somewhat questionable and controversial start, and we didn't even get through 2 corners without action. Check this out, multiple incidents. Scott McLaughlin, Christian Lundgaard, then Yuri Vips, Graham Rahal, Marcus Armstrong. Check this out between Scott Dixon, Colton Herter, and Rinus VeeKay. Watch this. Bang! Was that enough for you on the opening lap?
I mean, hit VeeKay so hard, knocked the wheel out of his hands. That's what led to the Dixon penalty. This is McLaughlin in the back of Benjamin Peterson. Palou with the hip check to Felix Rosenquist in turn 11.
Yeah, a bit of a cross up there. That was the pass for the lead. A little further down the road, Joseph Newgarden, after some damage in that first lap melee, loses it in turn 4. Mechanical problems continue for the 2-car.
A scoot ahead to lap 26. Watch this. Benjamin Peterson on the inside of Elio Castro Neves, but it's not over because here comes race leader Alex Palou. Just got through the narrowest of windows.
Lap 29 now, you see the two Swedish drivers, Marcus Ericsson on the inside, Rosenqvist and Polster on the outside. Contact, it flattens the left rear on Rosenqvist's car in the next corner, beaches it in the gravel, another yellow flag.
This is an exhausting amount of drama, just lap 37. All kinds of stuff happening here. Will Power at the top of the screen into the back of Benjamin Peterson. At the same time, McLaughlin into the back of Santino Ferrucci on one of the fastest sections of the track. What a save from the AJ Foyt driver, Ferrucci.
Unbelievable. All right, if that wasn't enough, get ready because we got 34 more laps to keep bringing the action. As Pato O'Ward in the Arrow McLaren Chevy is at the front with young Marcus Armstrong right behind and Scott Dixon looking to make a move. Look at this, almost 4 wide into the final turn.
That's not going to work, guys. There's contact behind. There's Ferrucci. No, such a good result on the cards. A broken front wing. The 60 of Tom Blomqvist has stopped. Surely another yellow is coming.
Bring out
and there it is.
Most common color of the day. The yellow is out again, and Ferrucci had that massive save. It is not a save this time.
Not sure what happened here, except the front end of Ferrucci briefly in the air. Not sure if he got off the back of Tom Blomqvist's Sirius XM car there, but Blomqvist sitting, maybe hoping for a refire. I don't see any obvious damage to the race car.
What a shame.
You saw Dixon, guys, on that restart. He thought about maybe jumping Armstrong as soon as he heard green, green, green. He considered it, stayed out of it.
Even Armstrong had a thought about going up the inside of Pato O'Ward.
Here's what went down. Coming to the green and coming to the final corner, turn 11. Up front, not too bad. There's Dixon thinking about it, but look to the right, look to the right. Big traffic jam. There's about to be contact. Here's Ferrucci right into the back of Palou.
Heavy off the back of Palou. Not sure how Ferrucci missed that.
And that was Tom Blomqvist into Devlin DeFrancesco.
Was that another situation of Palou having to check up and Ferrucci being caught out?
Oh, it was Ryan Hunter-Ray, then DeFrancesco, and that's what caused the stoppage at the back for Blomqvist to hit DeFrancesco.
Got to think there's maybe some damage to the back end of the number 10 American Legion car.
Yeah, the light's still working. Caution
Wing still on. Wing still square.
Okay, so we'll clean up, reset. The AMR safety team will do their work again, and we'll get ready to relaunch when we come back. Under this most recent caution, which is number 6 of the day, there's been a flurry of pit stops, and most notably, Scott Dixon and Marcus Armstrong of Chip Ganassi Racing, the Penske teammates of Power and McLaughlin, they stopped as well, but let's show you. Here you go.
Green car is Armstrong. He was ahead of Dixon on that alternate strategy. The number 9 comes to his box. It's going to be close between the teammates. This race team, excellent on pit lane. They launch Dixon. Watch the green car, Armstrong. And good old Dixie Dust sprinkling.
How about that? So a day that has had penalties, controversial calls for him, increased temperature from the 6-time champion and frustration. And he's just put himself and his team yet again in a magical position to potentially win this race.
It's how he won Indy GP, and that number 9 crew, they are second in the standings in the Firestone Pit Stop Challenge, Pit Stop Performance Championship. So they're doing what they do to get them out ahead of the 11, which could effectively, I mean, this could be the battle for the win right here.
In the background, the Sirius XM Honda for Meyer-Shank Racing, Tom Blomqvist still in the hands of the AMR safety team.
That Blomqvist's car was damaged unexpectedly. He stayed in the car. The reason it's huge is it extends this yellow. It allows Pato O'Ward to save precious fuel and maybe make it to the end. But I think Pato O'Ward, Marty, is going to need some more help from the flag stand.
Yeah, and here's the issue for Pato O'Ward. So they told Alex Palou a moment ago they almost pitted there for the 10 car to get on the same strategy as their teammates and be able to make it to the end, which the 9 and the 11 believe they can make it to the end. But the 10 car here, with all this caution, they think they're going to be very close to make it to the end. It's going to be a fuel save for Alex Palou, but they think they should be able to make it to the end. The problem for Pato O'Ward, he's sort of in that same group. He pitted around when Alex Palou pitted. But here's the issue. Hence, you mentioned it a moment ago. They have not taken their alternate tires today. So even if there's more caution and O'Ward could make it to the end on fuel, they have to pit to satisfy that requirement. So could that be the factor in why Pato O'Ward would not win the race today? He has control of the race right now, but they're going to need some help.
Will Anderson, his race engineer, and Zach Brown, the CEO of McLaren Racing, there on the stand discussing how this is going to play out for the young Mexican driver who has not put a foot wrong today. There's the boss. He's hoping for the first IndyCar win this year for the team.
I'll tell you, speaking of McLaren, I'm a little surprised Rossi did not pit on that yellow. Rossi's last pit on lap 38, so he certainly is going to have to come in pretty soon.
He is, and I believe he's the only other car that has not satisfied the tire requirements, so he's going to have to go to those sticker Firestone Reds.
I can say the same for Grosjean. I don't think he can make it to the end.
No, I wouldn't think so. Got Ryan Hunter-Reay running up there in 4th. He pitted last on lap 56.
Canapino pitted on lap 59.
And a 6th. How
now,
about that?
We talk a lot about fuel mileage, being able to stretch it. Honda has appeared to have the advantage in that all season long on these long stints, but maybe Canapino can work some magic
and look,
in his number 78 Chevy.
Sorry, mate, his teammate Callum Ilot's only 2 positions behind. He pitted on 61. Remember, he had that spin on pit lane?
He got spun on the racetrack with that Will Power incident with Peterson. So yeah, he's had all sorts of ups and downs today, but still running in 8th. That's just how crazy this race has been.
Listen, all these guys will have to save fuel. Even Scott Dixon, to make it this far to the end, I think it's going to take some caution. But of those that are on the track right now, it's Dixon, Armstrong, Herta, those guys that just pitted under the caution and have the best shot for sure.
It's definitely the best shot. I mean, there's still a lot of laps left, and we haven't been able to get a ton of green flag running consistently.
But if I'm placing a bet right now, it's on the 9.
Yeah.
Do you know how many cautions there were last year?
No.
Townsend?
1. 1. And we are currently on caution number 6.
But different racing surface, brand new, different circumstances, heightened emotion.
So we are averaging a caution every 9 laps, something like that?
Don't put it that way.
Hey, you guys like stats. You're always throwing numbers at me.
Fair.
All right, let's get ready to go. And with 29, it'll be 28 across the line next time. O'Ward with a clear track ahead. His teammate behind who has to pit here sometime soon. Grosjean will be on the attack against his old teammate on the inside. Grosjean pounces. Forceful move early. That was opportunistic. And lights it up, and there's more collisions.
Ryan Hunter-Reay trying to go through as well, but it's chaos in the back. That's the Hy-Vee Honda. Oh, man, we see Marcus Ericsson and Marcus Armstrong, who was one of those leaders on that other strategy, and now the yellow is out. And Hunter-Reay did get around the DHL Honda of Romain Grosjean. Teammates here. Armstrong having a great day. Ericsson already having a bad day. You can see the frustration. I hear one of those cars still running. I hear the gearbox trying to engage reverse.
Not a great sound.
Must be Marcus Ericsson.
Yeah, Ericsson is running, and he's trying to find reverse. That's not an easy thing, is it,
I think I'm okay. I just need to be restarted.
Yeah, it's not easy. There's a...
Oh, look at Ericsson is stuck and just unstuck himself from Armstrong. So Ericsson will be able to stay on the lead lap. And for Marcus Armstrong, he'll just hope the AMR safety team can get there quickly enough, get him refired. He should be okay.
So he doesn't go down a lap. What a shame when he was in the mix. He was in the discussion right there with his veteran teammate, Scott Dixon. How about Ryan Hunter-Reay, RHR, who won't be racing full-time in IndyCar next year. He came in as a super sub for the last few rounds of this year's championship in the Midnile.com Chevy. He pitted on lap 56, which is only 1 lap different from race leader Pato O'Ward, and he's there flying the flag for ECR.
Check this out. If we assume that these front runners aren't going to be able to make it, and Scott Dixon is the best of the cars that have pit. It'll be a Dixon-Herta-McLaughlin power shootout for the win after all the drama those drivers have had today. And there is Rocket Kevin Blanche fueling the pace car.
Yes, it's been that kind of day, folks. 7 cautions for 27 laps. Even the Honda Civic Type R needed a little bit of extra gas.
Look at how dirty it is offline there. All right, let's see how we got here on this one. Good jump from Padua Ward.
Watch the bright green car to the right of your screen. Watch the bright green car. Up the outside, round Peterson. And was it contact with Peterson's wing? And Ericsson arrived on the scene with nowhere to go.
Tough to tell. What a move from Grosjean, though. On board with Colton Herta.
So this is Armstrong essentially trying to pass Dixon for the lead. All locked up. Colton Herta. I think maybe Armstrong just lost it on his own. I'm not sure if there was contact with Peterson there.
3 wide into a section of track that really can only handle one on the line as Colton Herta got slammed.
May have been Peterson contact.
We're watching as you are. Ooh, Lundgaard. We never mentioned Lundgaard. He got caught up in it with Peterson there on the inside. There's carbon flying, bits of wing ends flying.
Lundgaard still nursing some damage from that first lap incident. The steering wheel was not straight on the 45 when we were on board with him a little bit earlier.
Got to think about co-team owners, Ricardo Juncos and Brad Hollinger. They must have a huge smile on their face. Their team, they're the newest team to IndyCar, by the way. They're running in 6th and 7th at the moment, Marty. What an effort from those guys.
Yeah, terrific effort for Juncos Hollinger Racing to be able to be up front here. 27 to go at the final race of the year at Laguna Seca. I want to add one more car to the mix that they think they can make it all the way now. How about the champion, Alex Palou, sitting in 8th, just in front of his teammate, Scott Dixon. He has to save a little bit more fuel than Dixon does, but they just told him from the timing stand, we're pretty sure we're good to go to the end of the race.
Wow.
You know what we say at this stage, folks? Your guess is as good as ours.
Absolutely. Pick your favorite color, spin the wheel.
What a way to finish the year. And credit to those for displaying the resilience who have faced adversity in this race, which is just about everyone, by the way, except for maybe Pato O'Ward, and who are hanging in there and still have a shot, like the Hertas and the McLaughlins and the Powers and the Lundgaards, etc. There they all are there in that grouping of cars right there on your screen.
Those drivers will likely not have to pit again. They're going to try to make this stretch. Some of the drivers up front, however, are still with one pit stop to go, notably our leader, Pato O'Ward, because even if he can make it on fuel, he has to pit for his tire requirements. He hasn't run a sticker set of Firestone Reds yet. All these cautions have thrown all strategies into the mix and all options on the table, and there's a mix of everything out there right now.
Need to take a moment to acknowledge American Legion, who of course is the partnership with Chip Ganassi Racing and Alex Palou. September is Suicide Awareness Month. All year long, IndyCar fans have been making their pledge to be the one and end veteran suicide by signing the Be the One wall. And that's here this weekend. Fans have made their commitment to be the one to ask a veteran if they need help, listen when a veteran needs to talk, and reach out when they see a veteran struggling. To learn more, visit betheone.org. And I want to repeat a story that we shared with Alex Palou on at the head of the grid in our pre-race show that we only learned about yesterday. That at the season opening race at St. Petersburg, there's an American Legion set up at each and every race with active service members. They have crisis counselors there, and a veteran came to that facility at the racetrack at St. Pete. They noticed some odd behavior, and he came and left, and somebody asked him to come in and asked him if he was okay, and they got him at the right moment where he said, no, I'm not okay. And I am having some very dark thoughts, and I'm really pleased to say all of these months later, they have helped that veteran get his life back on track, and he's not another number. He is not another suicide. And so, folks, you can be the one. Ask and help a veteran if they are okay, if they need help, and of course, contact the Legion, the American Legion. They've done such amazing work for so long.
And it only takes one to make the whole thing worthwhile. You think about all of the effort that's gone in to promote the American Legion and the Be the One program. It's stories like that bring it all together.
Absolutely.
And I think, as Chip Ganassi told you, it's so much more than just
a message.
Yes.
It is tangible. It's working.
So the champ will see what he can do with 25 laps to go. Can he make some magic and get back up there like he was for 51 of the laps thus far? So our super stat man, Russ Thompson, keeps reminding me that the most cautions was 29 back in 2001. We're at 7 now. Russ, don't hand me that kind of stuff anymore. Oh, we already got to the most cautions, Russ is saying. Pardon me, I misread the note. All right, we'll keep following that. So here we go, diving for the pits.
Well, there's your answer. Ryan Hunter-Reay not going to make it. He's going to have to stop. And Alexander Rossi, we saw that one coming. So that'll move Devlin DeFrancesco. I think Grosjean's going to have to stop too. Marty?
Yeah, not much choice here for Alexander Rossi. He had not pitted since lap 38, had to come down pit road here with just 24 to go. He can run pretty hard from here to the end, and finally putting on the sticker alternate tires for Rossi, who the handling of the car has actually been pretty good. Marcus Ericsson said after that contact on the racetrack, if you see the drag race off pit road, Ericsson said the car's not too bad actually after that contact with his teammate out there, Marcus Armstrong.
And all this has done is cycled the likes of Scott Dixon and Colton Herta and Scott McLaughlin further up the field with 24 laps to run as it stands right now, hopefully coming to a green soon.
Normally keep copious notes, Diff, as you know, on a strategy sheet. I don't know if you saw that. I just threw it over my shoulder. This is, we're in uncharted territory here. This is going to be about one thing. Can Pato O'Ward somehow open up a 25-second gap to guys like, I don't know, DeFrancesco, Canapino, and make that last stop and get those reds on? Unlikely, but he's got some of the fastest hands in the business. He's one of the fastest drivers in this series, so we'll see what happens.
Are we going to see a new winner? Will we get 8 different winners this year? Let's talk more about the race leader, Marty.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Will Anderson just told Pato O'Ward a moment ago on the radio. He said, what I want you to do is build as big of a gap as you can right here. There will be people around you saving fuel. We are not. We still have to pit here. And remember, they're still fighting for 3rd in the championship. They reminded Pato of that. Still a lot to fight for here in the final few laps for the 5 team.
All to play for. Yeah, a wipe of the brow from the boss, Zach Brown. Does not want to go winless in this 2023 season. So it all comes down to this man here and the team. Can they weave some magic to make that happen? Speaking of magic, you know who makes some artistic magic? That is Bill Patterson, who is renowned for doing live art. And Bill is here again, and he always, whether he does it at IndyCar, sports cars, at the IMSA WeatherTech series or whatever, there he is, our old mate from Texas. And he will have there, what you see are the beginnings of what will end up being the race winner. We've seen him do it for many, many years. We've seen him do it at evening functions, and he just wows the crowd. Immensely talented. Bill Patterson, thanks for being here again, Bill. Awesome stuff. Kevin
So
Lee,
cool
tell
to
us
see
about
those.
Grosjean.
So Romain Grosjean is saving massively. It does not make any sense to be able to make it the rest of the way, but hey, who knows? We could run most of the rest of the race under the caution, so that's the only option they have. And how ironic, he's running in 2nd, where he's finished 5 times in IndyCar, 2 times in Formula 1, trying to sneak through his first win since 2011, Dylan.
An electrical problem for Devlin DeFrancesco. Car shifting on its own. They're in emergency mode right now. Just going to try to nurse it home. They've got to beat the 60 and the 30 for the leader circle.
If you are expecting a forceful and somewhat desperate move because he is anxious for his first win in IndyCar, watch that yellow and red car in 2nd. As Kevin just said, watch Grosjean, because he will want to finish his time at Andretti with a victory.
Green, green, green.
Not quite close enough to O'Ward. Here goes the teammates around the outside. Callum Eilert and Augustine Canapino. And I think Dixon hit Palou, his teammate. Palou got all squirrely for the lead of the race. Romain Grosjean gets O'Ward.
Not saving fuel there, is he? That's a great move as the teammates from Uncle's Hunter side by side, slight contact.
So Dixon sneaks through. That's huge for Scott Dixon. Now he's going to work on Devlin DeFrancesco, and he'll get around.
Devlin having that shifting problem. If he's in emergency mode, he's having to lift off the throttle every time he pulls the paddle. Very distracting for a driver, and a huge time loss as well, as there's now a bit of a parking lot back here. Felix Rosenquist dropping wheels off of 4.
Regains it now, gets back on track. Look at this. The mad scramble is on. DeFrancesco with a wounded car. McLaughlin now whips up the inside of Alex Palou. McLaughlin and Dixon are on the same strategy, so he's trying to go with his countryman as that Juncos Hollinger Chevy is in trouble.
That's Callum Eilert, believe. I wonder if he has a cut tire from contact earlier or other body damage, but Callum Eilert well slow now as Palou tries to get around. So you've got Grosjean trying to be the rabbit, trying to get away and open up a gap for his final stop. Pato O'Ward trying to do the same thing. But Scott Dixon in a dramatic day on track, once again in the catbird seat.
Extra save.
You can't help but laugh. Extra save, you're saying to Pato O'Ward. But Dixon able to just keep running him down here, and there's another stop on the cards for the 5.
His peers say, how does he do it? How does Dixon do it? Well, you've watched today. Consistency, resilience, fuel economy, patience. Yes, he got angry. Yes, he let his temper get the better of him, but look out!
Oh,
look
Castro
out!
Neves.
Herder and Castro Neves. Elio continues. Herder does not.
Caution.
Again. This is number 8. And not the way that Colton Herder wanted it to end in this celebratory paint scheme as a tribute to his dad's car that he drove to victory here 25 years ago.
Maybe Grosjean's going to look like a genius here because we just can't get that green flag run going. And if he can keep saving fuel, who knows? I know Kev didn't think it was possible, but I'm starting to believe, Kev, that maybe there's going to be enough caution left for him to make this happen.
And then after I said that, after the restart, they said, okay, go hard now. We'll probably pit in 4 or 5 more laps. Unless there's a lot more caution. Let's see if he stays out.
Yeah, that was just very similar to what we saw from Devlin DeFrancesco. Elio Castroneves there in the black and pink car. As soon as he gets down the inside of Colton Herta, hits the brakes, immediately the back end goes, and Colton has no idea he's even there. Elio was not close to him at the time.
Yeah, it's been a sloppy day for Castroneves. Colton Herta here, all his focus is forward right now, and this is like getting hit by a comet.
And he was one of those guys on that Dixon strategy. He was potentially fighting for a podium here, so extra tough break.
We don't know where Grosjean's going next year. What if this was his last ever IndyCar race and he was to get that elusive victory? Unreal. Well, the day has taken a turn for Pato O'Ward and Romain Grosjean, forced to pit with 19 laps to go. That changes the complexion of the race and their respective races as Scott Dixon and countryman Scott McLaughlin cycle to the top, followed by Callum Eilert. Still under caution here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, but for everything that this 43-year-old 6-time champion has been through, he finds himself in the lead of this race.
I'm not surprised at all. The most chaotic races favor Scott Dixon, and if you look at this number 9 PNC car, there's been a touch early in the race, but there's not a mark on this thing. It's pristine. He does it all the time. Over 20 years of genius. And how about Juncos Hollinger? 19 laps to go, and their 2 cars, Callum Eilert and Agustin Canapino, run 3rd and 5th.
Unreal.
Excellent job.
Unreal. While facing the wrong way on pit lane. Let's not forget that. It could be a...
Canapino's got some wing damage too, so he's going to be nursing that. You look at the right front wing of Canapino as Colton Herta and the Gainbridge boys go back to the garage.
We got word there was actually damage to the gearbox that had already occurred. That is part of the reason why he had a slow run off of turn 2 to allow Elio to get the run up the inside. So let's take a look from onboard Elio's car. Right up in front there, that's Colton again, slow off the corner because of the gearbox issue. Spin and continue for the 0-6.
Oh boy, it's been one of those days, unfortunately, for Helio Castroneves in his final full-time IndyCar ride.
And guys, Palou up there in fourth, you know, when he got sort of hosed by that yellow, controlling the race, hosed by the yellow, back down in the high teens. I was about to say, look, we've talked a lot about that best worst finish stat that you love, Townsend. 8th position in the opening race at St. Pete. Up to today has been the worst finish here. And I thought, oh, we're finally going to break that record.
And Marty, let's not forget, Palou got absolutely slammed from behind, too, on a restart. So,
yeah,
amazing job to hang in there.
It's just been incredible, and the brakes continue to fall the 10 teams' way with all these cautions. Remember, he pitted at 59. His teammate Scott Dixon pitted 5 laps later at 64. They told Palou a moment ago that you can go hard all the way to the end with 18 laps. The tough part for Pato O'Ward, who is now cycled out in 13th position, I think with all of those cautions, Hinch, they were in a position where they could have possibly made it to the end as well. They pitted on lap 57 for their stop before this most recent one, but we talked about it earlier. They had not taken the alternate sticker tires that you are required to take, so O'Ward had to pit more for tires than anything else. Went from leading the race and in control now to 13.
Think about this. Texas 2021, Scott Dixon won, Scott McLaughlin followed him home, racing his hero for the win. That was back in 2021. McLaughlin's got a lot more races under his belt now. How's he going to race his hero here for the win of this Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey? Back to green, Dixon in the lead.
I mean, it's the 2 Scots from New Zealand up top, but again, Callum Ilott with a great run going here in P3. It's all clean so far, guys. I don't want to jinx it. There's power up the inside of Christian Lundgaard. There's contact in 2. And now Rossi's going to try to capitalize.
This is what happens at the end of the season. If you've got 17 to go, no more pit stops, you don't care anymore. All you want is a podium or a top 5 if you can get it. You don't care if you're bouncing off other cars. It is caution to the win.
I think there may have been contact earlier between Power and Lundgaard, and that was a bit of a payback from Lundgaard on Power. Rinus VeeKay finds himself in there, but VeeKay's way down the order, not on the lead lap. Meanwhile, this is on the lead lap, and for the big positions, here comes the champ, Palou on Callum Ilott. Think about the co-owners at Hulkos Hollinger. They are flanking the champ. Ilott in front, Canapino behind. What an extraordinary day for Hulkos Hollinger.
And this is the kind of performance that Callum Ilott has demonstrated he's capable of, but he now finds himself in position to get it done with some of the biggest names in the sport. The top 3 that he raced with, all race winners. There's 8 championships between Dixon and Alex Palou. So he is at the deep end of the pool. Look at this, Will Power coming forward.
Uh-oh, look out on the inside. Alexander Rossi forcing it there.
Guys, how about this run from Rossi up to P6 now after getting around Agustin Canapino? Remember, he had that broken air jack system, had to do manual lifting of the car in pit lane. He's had all sorts of problems. Lundgaard also doing a great job. You can see the steering wheel is a little crooked on that car from that first lap contact. So everybody's having a good show right now up at the front, but really impressed with the comeback as well from Rossi here.
You know what else is a bonus for Callum Ilott? He's still got 127 seconds of push to pass left. That's significantly more than the 2 guys ahead of him, Dixon and McLaughlin.
But are any of them allowed to use it? How tight is the fuel? I know we've had the cautions to help, but you want to run flat out if you can.
Well, he stopped before those guys too.
He did, but Palou was just told you can go as hard as you want. Palou pitted 2 laps before Callum Ilott. So Honda versus Chevy on performance, on fuel mileage. We'll have to see how it plays out. Scott Dixon, 1.2 seconds to the good over McLaughlin.
And you've got Callum Ilott sitting here in 3rd place. In that black and green car, in his mirror, it's the champion, right? You've got Ilott trying to get his first ever career podium. Palou's had 6 wins this year. He's like, come on, man, just spread the wealth a little bit. Stay back there. Let me spray some champagne and pick up some hardware.
This is the moment that Callum Ilott's been waiting for, the 24-year-old British driver, because he's saying, hey, I was an F2 guy. I was an F2 front runner. I was a Formula One test and development and reserve driver. This is the kind of stuff that I can do, and he's now been given the opportunity to do it. He finished top 5 at the season opener at St. Pete, but he said, hey, that wasn't really representative. A bunch of people crashed out, but he was selling himself short. Look at what he's doing now.
Well, he's selling himself for a future in IndyCar. And Marty, you reported that I don't think the option's been taken up just yet, as you told us the other day. So Ricardo Juncos might want to get the pen ready when this is over.
The pay.com Chevy, it might be payday. Eilert back onto the front straight. One more to go as the laps wind down on this caution-filled day. 14 to go here in California to put a period on this 2023 NTT IndyCar Series.
So Scott Dixon goes 109.3 lap time at the line. McLaughlin 109.6. That gap staying at about a second and a half.
Here we go, let's get back into the scrap zone. Augustine Canapino fending off the Ganassi guys.
That wing is really dragging now for Canapino. It was just sort of barely touching the ground on the restart, and now it is absolutely grinding into this brand new track surface. It's going to be a struggle for Canapino, especially in the left-handers, which is most of the corners at Laguna Seca.
Cresting the hill at the Rahal Straight. Here's the corkscrew. Good look at that rear wing and the new Power of the People program for Junco's Hollinger Racing. Maybe, just maybe, after they launched it at Portland, it brought them some good mojo.
Yeah, he doesn't have to defend too hard because that's Marcus Ericsson still running a lap down, but then just behind Ericsson is Marcus Armstrong, who is for position with Canapino.
A little further back, Pato O'Ward is in the 10, but he's some 15 seconds behind the race leader. Here he is here in the Arrow Chevy.
Have light fuel and fresh tires, but unfortunately that time loss and track position loss, it's an absolute killer here with only 13 to go.
All right, you ready to go for a walk around WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca? Let's go through the field. Let's kick it off with Alex Palou, and Marty Snyder gets it going.
Yeah, let's start with the man who in 13 laps will collect the Astor Cup for the second time. This has been very emblematic of their entire season. The brakes just falling Palou's way today, much like it did last week at Portland, where he won. He will finish the year with 5 wins and a second championship. Right behind him, Will Power, who admitted to me earlier this week, he said, listen, a lot of things off track really distracted me this year. I'm going to come in next year with a new focus with the 12 team and really spend the offseason getting ready for 2024. Alexander Rossi having a very solid run at one of his hometown racetracks. Rossi used that pit strategy earlier, and remember, Hinch mentioned it, they had the issues to getting the car to jack up, but it's not been an issue on the last few stops. Rossi solidly in the 6th position right now.
And Marty behind him, Christian Lundgaard has rebounded to 7th. It's been a tough day for these guys with the car that they deem maybe one of the best in the field after that turn 1 melee. They've scrapped and clawed, just tried to get back in the mix, and a testament to the hard work that's gone on all year long with the Rahal Letterman cars just to get their road course program back on the right footing. They've done that this year, and it's going to be disappointing to end the day where they're at, but a lot to be excited about moving forward. Behind him is Augustine Canapino, who continues to just wow everybody. And again, talking about him at the start of this year, you know, he said, I couldn't say no to the offer to come race at the highest level of racing, even though it was overwhelming to think of all I was going to have to learn. I never thought I'd have this opportunity, and I want to take advantage of it. It's only the beginning of what I want to accomplish in IndyCar. He's proving that he's got the capability to accomplish a lot of great things here, Kevin.
Hey, keep an eye on Marcus Armstrong and that other green car right behind him. He's going to work on Canapino, and it's maybe another situation of what could have been. He's been fast all season, but the best finish is 7th. He's got a chance to get that again, but there he does. He gets through, back up to 7th in this, back up to 8th in this situation. It's still going to be a Rookie of the Year season and a full season next year for Marcus Armstrong, Marty.
Kevin, I asked Pato O'Ward to describe this season, and he said emotional. He said the Indy 500, honestly, was hard for me to get over. Remember, I had one of the best cars and had a spectacular wreck late in that race. And then he said throughout the summer, I felt like we kept getting punched down with the 5 team. I think this is going to go in that category today. Had one of the cars to beat, had to pit late, gave up a lot of track position, but in 10th right now, Dylan.
Ryan Hunter-Reay runs in the 11th spot. Talked about him at the beginning of the day. Brought over to Ed Carpenter Racing mid-season to just kind of stabilize this program. There was a lot of turmoil. The results not what they wanted. This is a nice result and going to be a nice result for them if they can hang on. It hasn't been the flashiest of results on paper for Ryan this year since he's been brought over, but the work has been done behind the scenes. We've seen it the last couple of weeks with Rinus VeeKay. We're seeing it today with Ryan Hunter-Reay. We're just outside the top 10. And how about Stingray Robb having the best run of his rookie season right behind him? West Coaster is from Idaho, and he's had a great 2 weeks out here spending it with family and friends. He and his dad drove solo in their pickup truck down the coast from Portland to Laguna and just reflected on the opportunity they've had to work hard and make it a full season in IndyCar racing. Stingray wants to be back next year working to secure some funding and a ride, but just been really thankful for the opportunity to be a full-time IndyCar racer this year and having a great day.
And you may have seen in the background there the light blue Sapphire Honda of Devlin DeFrancesco running slowly off the racing line, but just cruising. Can he make it back? There he is. Can he make it back? He's at decent speed at the moment.
You can see the head bobbing violently. I think that's the gearbox issues continue to cause all kinds of issues. Looked like there's a wire dangling, like the gearbox shift actuator is damaged. If you look closely at the back, that might explain why the gearbox isn't working.
Did you hear it missing there?
Yeah.
Like that shift problem, that difficulties there as we're getting down inside the final 10 laps. This is Felix Rosenqvist, the man who started from the pole position. And the day just has not gone his way. Multiple incidents, and Felix finds himself in 20th. He went off again just a moment ago. Meanwhile, in the top 10, they keep scrapping. Marcus Armstrong, Canapino, and O'Ward. This is 8th, 9th, and 10th. Here's Pato.
Canapino, 4 position.
I mean, this is not a guy that has been running up in the top 10 a lot this season, so every driver is still trying to learn a little bit about him, how he races, how to react with him around a passing situation, but he's doing an incredible job hanging on with that damaged wing.
So Pato O'Ward gets by. Up next for O'Ward will be Marcus Armstrong and Christian Lundgaard.
Every point, every position counts, because he, being Pato O'Ward and Scott McLaughlin, are in this fierce fight for the top 3 in the championship. McLaughlin has it at the moment, but only by 4 points over O'Ward. So these closing 8 laps are going to be fascinating.
And we talked at the top of the show about that internal Penske battle. First and second are locked up, but a lot of competitive energy between the bus bros, McLaughlin and Newgarden. And with Newgarden's issues today, McLaughlin could take it.
And think about O'Ward. If O'Ward can't win, because McLaughlin's had a win, if he can't get a win this season, he would love to be the best Chevrolet driver in the championship. That would be huge.
No doubt.
As they run right now, McLaughlin up 2 spots there in 3rd, and Joseph Newgarden, if you could believe it, down in 5th as the points run. So been a very, very chaotic day in terms of championship expectations.
What do we say to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca? The repave worked. It brought a lot of unpredictability. It brought high speeds and chaos and drama.
I think we'll get 27 different answers to that question after this race. How about this? Dixie now 3.8 seconds ahead and cruising, 7 to go.
It just shows how you can never give up in the IndyCar series. Having those issues early, getting called for that penalty. They just turned it into a positive.
It wasn't that long ago, Diff, that we were talking about Dixon saying, can he keep up his streak of consecutive seasons with a win? We wondered if it could happen in the 23 season. He's on track to win 3 now before the end of the year. Kev, once again, Magic Man, getting it done.
And in those 4 races, 3 wins if this holds, and a podium in the other. And when we talked to Chip Ganassi a couple of days ago, he said Dixon has just been serving up a masterclass over the last few weeks about how he's getting it done. He was asked, how much longer do you think he wants to go? And he said, we think, joking, maybe another 14 or 15 years. Marty.
4 seconds behind is Scott McLaughlin. I asked Scott this morning for a word to describe 2023, and he said, honestly, improvement. It may not show it in all the stats, but I feel like we as a team, me as a driver, are much better this year, especially when it comes to qualifying, and that's been huge for us. He told me my whole goal coming into the race today is to finish 4th in the championship. He came in 5th. Well, guess what right now, Diff? He is 3rd in the championship. As we talked about, Scott McLaughlin would gain 2 spots in the championship standings if he can hold on here and finish 2nd.
Passes the ailing Devlin DeFrancesco And if Scotty Mack and the Thirsty Threes can hang on, it would be Scott's 4th podium of the year, including a win earlier this year at Barber. And DeFrancesco's just going to try and limp his way home. Dixon, 4 seconds to McLaughlin. A couple of seconds further back to Palou. Then Eilert. Will Power for the eventful day he's had. Slick Willie, he is in the top 5. Then Rossi with the comeback drive. Lundgaard has been wounded most of the day. Christian's in 7th. Then Armstrong, who'll be Rookie of the Year. Pato O'Ward and Ryan Hunter-Ray. Wouldn't that be great for RHR to finish out his full-time IndyCar days in the top 10? That would be very appropriate. Good stuff.
If you're wondering why Devlin DeFrancesco is still trying to nurse that number 29 home, you made the hand sign, the dollar sign. The leader circle points are still up for grabs right now.
Look at that.
29 is on the bubble.
That's why he's hanging in there. They're saying, kid, it's worth $1 million, but DeFrancesco now on pit lane with 5 to go, and that damage for Canapino continues to grow. Sparks flying off the right front wing and fence.
What a shame.
Heart breaks for him. I mean, as a driver, to be having your best race of your career and to have something like that.
I think they can bring in DeFrancesco because Yuri Vips is 24 laps down.
And Blomqvist is out.
Yep. So that locks in Andretti in that top 22, the valuable top 22.
It looks like they maybe just drove him through pit lane to avoid some cars, so he's still back out there running around. But look at this, Canapino just bleeding lap time, bleeding positions.
Think about one stage he was vying for a podium. Big lock up into the corkscrew. Canapino's off.
That's going to happen. As that wing starts failing, you lose that downforce, that grip on the front axle. So easy to lock up those front tires. They might have to come to pits, guys.
Well, those front tires have just been abused. It's so much mechanical grip demanded when you lose your front wing like that. So I'm sure the tires have worn more than any other Reds we've seen all weekend, that's for sure.
Going to be a career high finish for Callum Eilert in the next 4 laps. He's had his podium dreams dashed by the 2-time champ Alex Palou, but still a top 4 is unbelievable. As he climbs the hill, crests the Rahal straight one more time. Dylan?
And just want to, polish up the Devlin DeFrancesco story. This has been a tough day for them. The motivation or the goal, I guess, has kind of changed throughout the day just based on where the cars around them have been running. So they first were starting to just cover the 30, then they were working and worried about the 60 car. So Dev's kind of just had to be fluid with the goals for the day. The ultimate goal is obviously to stay in the position for the leader circle, but it's gone awry, but they've done exactly what they needed to do today. Just stayed on track, beaten the cars they needed to beat, and now they're going to make the leader circle.
Look at this, look at this. Eilert ran off track. Rossi's ready to pounce. So too Christian Lundgaard. Down into the Andretti hairpin. Here goes Alexander. Look for that inside line. Lundgaard's ready to set both of them up.
Oh, this could be pretty nasty with 3 laps to go. Rossi looks up in the wheel and angry fast right now, James.
He's been on this comeback since having their problems earlier in the race. He could smell a top 5. Eilert drove off, Power got around him. That's what gave Rossi that bit of a run into 2, but as you see, Lundgaard right there as well, battling back from all the issues he's had today. A lot of comeback stories up and down the top 10 at the moment.
And meanwhile, Marcus Ericsson, who's a lap down, is looking at these 3, probably thinking, I might be able to pass him, but I don't know if I want to get close, as you see a violent replay of Callum Eilert going out off at the exit of the fastest corner on this track.
It looks, like sand is soft, but I tell you, when you're bouncing up and down in an Indy car like that, that absolutely stings. The neck, the back, you feel all of those bumps. But he's done a good job getting a little bit of a gap now to the McLaren of Rossi.
Before we run out of time, fellas, need to talk about another championship. We talk about Leaders Circle. We've been talking about teams. We need to talk about the manufacturers battle. It's Honda versus Chevrolet. And this man on screen in the Hy-V Honda, Christian Lundgaard, has to move up another 3 spots in order for Honda to win the Engine Manufacturers Championship, because some of the Hondas ahead of him are no longer eligible for points. Remember Dixon with that grid spot penalty, let alone what happened before what happened on the track, but he's not eligible. Here he is here.
Such a great point, Div. Kind of forgot that he already had to deal with an engine penalty before the green flag even dropped. But each team that's allowed a certain number of engines a season, if you go above your allocation, that car is no longer eligible to score points in the Manufacturers' Championship. That's why it all rests on the shoulders of Christian Lundgaard at the moment.
1 to go. There's the white flag.
One more good lap here.
2.2 miles for Scott Dixon, the 43-year-old New Zealander in the PNC Bank Honda. He was furious earlier in this race when he was penalized for an accident right here. Collision between himself and Rinus VeeKay and Colton Herter. He didn't feel as though he deserved it. Wife Emma watches on as he is about to do it again.
And Diff, we said coming into this weekend, you have to qualify up front to win at Laguna Seca. Scott Dixon didn't. He started 11th. Last year, Alex Palou, he started 11th. The stats are being reset by Chip Ganassi Racing.
Climbing the hill a final time at the end of the Rahal Straight for the corkscrew. This has happened so many times in this illustrious career. That is, his peers and competitors left scratching their heads, asking the question, how does Dixon do it? Well, he does it like this. And guess what? For everything Scott Dixon has achieved, he's never won at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. He has now. Dixon finishes off the season with another victory. That's 3 for 23. And the mad rush is on here. Christian Lundgaard gets by Alexander Rossi and is trying to get by Callum Ilott. McLaughlin has crossed the line for second, Palou third, and this is the mad scramble to the line here as Callum Ilott comes home in the top 5 behind Will Power. But at the front, he may not have got his 7th championship, but he got the last laugh of the 2023 season. Scott Dixon, the winner, the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey. Check out this Advanced Auto Parts checkered flag moment, and it is the champion, Alex Palou, with some Alex Zanardi style donuts to finish off this season, and it's celebrations all round at Chip Ganassi Racing because his 6-time title-winning teammate Scott Dixon is the victor again. That's 3 of the last 4 races won by the veteran. And Dixon says it all. What a day to his team owner, Chip Ganassi. Kevin?
How does 56 sound? A month ago, thinking about just extending that remarkable record-breaking streak to 19 straight seasons with a win. He finishes it with 3 out of 4, second in the championship again, and it's never easy. What are you thinking when you go to the back early with the penalty, and how did you drive to the front again?
Yeah, it was definitely, credit to this team, and I think they've been, they've just been executing like that all year. So it's been a special, group to be a part of. Obviously celebrating Alex's 2nd championship, which is big too. Obviously he tied it up last week, but I can't thank this PNC Bank group enough. Honda, obviously, for the mileage. We had a bit of an issue this morning. We got a grid penalty, had to go to, lose 6 spots, and then got caught up in some mayhem at the start. I'll definitely say I didn't agree with the call, but I haven't seen all of it yet, but I had nowhere to go, so I don't know what they expect me to do, but we won. That's all that matters. We won.
Congratulations. Scott Dixon can now begin thinking about championship number 7 as a possibility next season, Lee.
We won. That's all that matters. A kiss and a hug from wife Emma. What a way to end the 2023 NTT IndyCar seasons with a win. And it's his teammate Alex Palou. The champagne's flowing already. He'll get the Astor Challenge Cup when we come back. We've all been waiting a long time, but tonight, pleased to say, it's the debut of Sunday Night Football as Dak Prescott and the Cowboys take on Saquon Barkley and the Giants. Coverage begins with Football Night in America, 7 Eastern on NBC and on Peacock. Yes, football is back. Here is the Pennzoil moment of the race, and who could it be anybody different than Scott Dixon? Lap 1, exiting turn 2, Herter contact Dixon and VeeKay, bang, 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 and race control says you needed to pay a penalty for that, went off strategy with his stop and had multiple penalties in this race, pre-race and during, and went down pit lane about 15 times. I'm exaggerating, but he did everything he needed to do, leading 20 laps and winning for the 3rd time in the last 4 races to seal this championship with authority. And it's his teammate who's celebrating the title victory, and Marty Snyder is standing by on the presentation stage. Marty?
Well, Diff, let's get things kicked off here at the championship stage. Let's present the Manufacturers Championship Trophy. First, let's bring up the president of IndyCar, Mr. Jay Fry, and also from Chevrolet, the U.S. Vice President of Motorsports and Performance for Chevrolet, Mr. Jim Campbell. Come on up, guys. Congratulations, everyone. What a terrific year it was for Chevrolet. We'll let them pose for a photo. 6 wins this year, including the Indianapolis 500 for Chevrolet with Joseph Newgarden. Congratulations, everyone. All right, time to celebrate the championship team. Let's welcome up to the stage the owner of Chip Ganassi Racing, Mr. Chip Ganassi. I think Mike Hull is busy in victory lane with his driver, Scott Dixon. Chip, we'll have you stand on that side. And now for the man of the hour, let's welcome to the stage the now 2-time NTT IndyCar Series champion, Alex Palou. Come on up, Alex. What a year for the 10 team, 5 wins, including 3 in a row at one point. What's the emotion, Alex, of winning the 2nd championship compared to the first one, especially with all the stuff you guys dealt with this year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been an amazing year. 5 wins, 10 podiums. And today was going to be a really good race as well. The yellows didn't help us, but it was a fun race. Everybody at Chip Ganassi Racing did an awesome job giving us the cars we needed. And, yeah, super happy to get our 2nd championship together.
Are you ready for some hardware? You've taken the Astra Cup before. So let's bring up to the championship stage Bailey Long from Johnston's. It'll be the 2nd championship ring for Alex Palou. That's something you can show off as a team cheers right here with that championship ring. And now for the presentation of the Astra Cup for the 2023 champion, let's bring up David Croxville, the CFO for NTT Data Corp, and also Mark Miles, President and CEO of Penske Entertainment Group. Mark, I'll let you do the honors.
All right, thanks very much. First to Chip and the team making history, winning the championship, coming in 2nd in the championship, and Rookie of the Year has never been done in IndyCar, so congratulations on a phenomenal accomplishment. And then to this guy, on behalf of all your fellow competitors, all of our sponsors, especially NTT, and all of our fans, you also made history. First time in 16 years that somebody clinched the championship before even getting to the finale, so really a phenomenal run. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we'll see if, David, you want to help me hand this over?
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 NTT IndyCar Series champion, Alex Palou, now a 2-time title winner.
And that's what you say, doing it with authority. From a team perspective, Chip Ganassi Racing, the race, the Rookie of the Year, and the championship. 2 in 3 years for Alex Palou. What a season, fellas.
Terrific season, and just think about what they have locked down for next year. This guy, Palou, Scott Dixon, Linus Lundqvist, the exciting rookie coming over to the team, and Marcus Armstrong, Rookie of the Year, and confirmed to run full-time, including the ovals for next year. 24 looking just as bright.
Yeah, you can't help but be blown away by what this team accomplished. Add in their pole at the Indy 500, guys. I mean, they've been quick everywhere, consistent everywhere. Worst finish of 8th. This is a Hall of Fame season. Just incredible to watch.
When we see him back next year, he's going to be a dad. Wife Esther is giving birth later this year, around about Thanksgiving. Want to remind you, too, that when we say farewell here from NBC in a couple of moments' time, we will have continuing post-race coverage over on Peacock. More interviews, more reaction to this season finale that had 8 cautions for a whopping 35 laps. Yes, it was eventful, to say the least. But Alex Palou will remember this one for so many reasons. What a season. 5 victories, and just with authority is all you can say. He has stepped it up to another level and has made his home in the NTT IndyCar Series, and he hasn't been in North America for very long at all, and he has made the most of it. Incredible performance from the guy who at times never dreamed he would race in America, but he has made America and the NTT IndyCar Series his home. What a year it has been wherever we have visited. It has been a year to remember for so many reasons. Elio, bye-bye from the driver's seat for now. Go into that co-team ownership and enjoy it. Thanks so much for joining us for the NTT IndyCar Series and this Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey. We congratulate Alex Palou again as the champion. Coming up next, it's your local news, except here on the West Coast. On behalf of the entire NBC Sports team, thanks so much for watching IndyCar and enjoy the off-season. Thanks for hanging with us here on Peacock for a little bit of post-race coverage of the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey. Bill Patterson finishing off the champion and race winner, painting, as he does so well, letting his creative skills show, be on display for everybody. And look, Barry Wanzer, the head of racing competition from Chip Ganassi Racing, couldn't be here, but his cardboard cutout has been. He's still dealing with his fight with cancer at home, curable cancer, and Barry is on the comeback trail. Barry, we know that you're with us, mate, in spirit. You're with the team, and you're champions again. You've done it again. It's the first time, I guess, you've done it from your couch at home, but you're a champion, and along with your team, along with your number 10 team, as Alex Palou continues the champion celebrations. And we continue our post-race coverage with Dylan Welsh. Dylan?
Yeah, and Diff, we got a couple of the Team Penske boys down here who are rehashing an eventful day, to say the least. So we'll start with Scott McLaughlin, who finishes second. Let's see, you were off in the dirt on turn one. You had an avoidable contact drive-through penalty. You said you think you hit about everybody. How did you finish second?
It was just like a lot of concertina stuff and stuff that I could avoid, couldn't avoid, and yeah, it was crazy. But so proud of everyone at XPEL Chevy. That was peak IndyCar right there. It's just, you think your day's done, you get a drive through, you come back. But I had a mega restart with like the second last restart or something. I passed like 6 or 7 cars to get behind Dixon there, and yeah, super proud. And third in the championship, that's an absolute bonus.
Yeah, we talked about that at the start of the day. It was probably an unconventional way to get there, but what's the significance of that to you to ultimately be third and the highest Chevy driver?
Yeah, ultimately, yeah, the top Chevy. You know, Chip Ganassi Racing, Alex and Scott have been really class their own this year, and congrats to them. But you know, it's just nice to be, you know, I guess the best of the rest there, and we'll keep working with Team Chevy and Team Penske, but to be the best team home and in the Chevy ranks, and then from a driving perspective against the 2 legends that I have as teammates, I'm really proud of that. A lot of work to do, but I said to the guys today, you know, 2024 started today, and we're really proud of that effort.
Well, they're off to a great start if that's the case. Scott McLaughlin finishes second. Let's grab Will Power, who finishes in the 4th spot today. So you've been around IndyCar racing a long time. Have you ever seen a day quite as eventful as this one was?
Actually, they used to be a lot like this about a decade ago. You used to have a lot of yellows and mixed up strategy and crazy restarts. So that was like a textbook old school IndyCar race. Yeah, man, those are the days. You just hang in there. You get a drive-through penalty. You have to be put to the back. Yeah, just one of those days. I think the few days leading up to it, we kind of thought that this would be the case because it just was very easy to make a mistake and go off, and sort of an inviting track to throw it up the inside. So pretty happy to get back to 4th. Tough year, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the win streak kind of comes to a close for you this year without the win. But big picture, I mean, how would you evaluate your year? I know it was tough, you know, on and off the racetrack, but how would you evaluate it?
Yeah, just not a good year, man. Not good enough. You know, on my personal side, it was bad at the start of the year. Obviously, had a lot going on there with my wife getting real sick, but. Yeah, at the end of the day, she's healthy, and I'm here, and I'm racing, and you know, everything she went through, you don't really care about the rest. But we'll be back next year, fighting hard.
Good perspective from Will Power. He ends the year 4th today. Kevin?
Dylan, let's talk to the Rookie of the Year. Marcus Armstrong did it despite missing 5 races. He didn't compete in the ovals. He will next year. Congratulations. What's the significance to you?
Thanks a lot, Kevin. It's been a wild ride. Today was so up and down. I thought I was going to win at one point. I thought I was going to finish last at one point. And then I settled on P8. But yeah, you're right, Rookie of the Year. Having not done 5 races, I'm over the moon. It's it was touch and go at one point today, but yeah, to lock it up, I'm very pleased, and I have to say big thank you to my team, Chip Ganassi Racing, and everyone, Blair and Eric and everyone else. I can't name everyone, but it's been an exceptional couple of races, and surely there's a lot of work to do, but I'm very pleased.
And now you get to go oval racing, and you'll be in an oval for the first time this week. What are you thinking about that?
Oval racing, yeah. Oh, it's fast. So I don't know. I'm going to have to really do my homework tonight, tomorrow night, and so on. But I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be something new for me, and I've got the best guys in the world to teach me about it. So looking forward to it.
Congratulations on a job well done. Marcus Armstrong for Chip Ganassi Racing, full-time next year. He is the top rookie, comes home with an 8th place finish today. And Callum Ilott matches his career best with a 5th in all kinds of different scenarios. You started near the back, you went even further back. How did you get back to the front?
I don't know, really. Yeah, we had contact in turn 2. I think everyone who was on the outside lane just concertinaed up, and I was involved in that. Managed to get through it, got the front wing. I ended up spun around, I think by power in the last corner. I was then spun around in the pits. I was off the track in 10. I had contact in turn 2, which bent my rear. Yeah, and I did about 6 or 7 pit stops. So somehow I'm in the top 5. We had good pace. It's just that last stint I was struggling with a bit of damage. It was a fight to keep it, and then suddenly I was running out of fuel, so then I was fighting the fuel as well. We did a great job to pull it off. The strategy worked out in our way, even with all the crazy stuff going on. Lots of people crashing into each other, damaged cars, sand everywhere. It's IndyCar.
Congratulations. Right in the back of the shot here, we've got an opportunity to talk to Brad Hollinger. Since you're here, I'm going to just kind of jump in on you here. Tell me about where you think this program is at. Big picture for Juncos Hollinger Racing in year number 2 with this program. How do you feel about, all things considered, the season went, and what's next?
Well, I think the season was up and down a bit, and then we're on the pickup now, so it was a learning experience for us, but I think we made great strides, and, great way to end the year.
Great to have you in IndyCar. Thank you. Just wanted to say hello. Congratulations to Callum Ilott and a good finish to the season. Now to Marty Snyder.
Yeah, their day might be topped by Chip Ganassi's day. And, it's not easy being an owner, is it, Chip? Are these the days that make it worth it when you win and claim a title?
They really are, Marty. I mean, to be first, second in the points, and then Rookie of the Year, Marcus Armstrong. I mean, Alex, Dixon, what a season it's been for the whole team. My hat's off to everybody on the team.
As the confetti goes off for the podium guys, I want to ask you about the driver that won the race first. I mean, how does he continue to find magic, Scott Dixon?
Well, I was somebody was saying on the timing stand before the finish, said, I'm about to go back and look at the rerun of this thing and figure out how we got to the front. So I don't know myself, to tell you the truth. I mean, a lot of yellows obviously today, and wasn't a pretty race, but it got awful pretty at the end there.
So you stood in this victory lane last year and pointed at Alex Palou and said, I don't think he's totally gone. He is with you moving forward. What impressed you most about him this year?
Yeah, well, just the fact that, he was so much going on inside the young man's head, and he still kept the focus that's a sign of a true professional. Yeah. The focus he had in winning the races.
And we can confirm he's in the 10 car for the foreseeable future?
Certainly, yes.
There you go, Chip Ganassi, a happy day here. And conveniently, Diff, I want to show you victory lane, like where the podium is, that's like 10 feet from where the championship stage is. So Chip can kind of bounce back and forth when Palou comes back over to take more pictures with the Astor Cup. It's an easy walk. It's about 5 feet.
That is a comprehensively successful season for Chip Ganassi, and celebrating more than 30 years of competition. How about McLaughlin? He got his goal of being top 3 in the championship, and there he stands with the successful Ganassi duo. So pretty cool day. Congratulations again to Chevrolet for winning the manufacturer's title. And I don't know about you guys, I've already had a few texts by people saying, I need to watch that race again because of all that transpired.
I mean, Chip was on the pit box and even he struggled to keep up with what was happening in it. It was hectic, it was mayhem, but man, it was entertaining, even with all the cautions. I was getting a bit annoyed at those at one point, but it was
one of our key jobs is to predict what might happen or why it might happen, and today all bets were off except for one thing. We knew early on with all the drama that Scott Dixon would somehow factor into it. I don't know if we called the win right away, but it didn't take long. By mid-race, we can see this coming, and that's just how good he is in chaos.
Is it fitting that the top 3 in the championship are also the top 3 in your race today?
Exactly, and some personal notes there. McLaughlin, best ever points position in IndyCar. Well done to him. Let your eyes walk down a little bit further. O'Ward was 7th last year. He's 4th this year. Good improvement. Christian Lundgaard, career best. Obviously, he's only been full-time for a couple, but last year Lundgaard was 14th with a win. He finishes 8th this year. Some significant improvements there.
Well, and I think for Arrow McLaren to be firmly in, you used to call it the big 4 teams. Sorry, the big 3, to be part of that big 4 now, that's something special. And then throw Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan in. What a season it's been for those guys as an organization, given where they started. An amazing turnaround mid-season with race wins and poles now. It's 5 big guns at the top. In fact, it's Andretti trying to inch their way back into the conversation.
You can almost look at it the other way. You can almost look at it the other way as well, though, and say it's really only the big 2, because you had Palou with 5 wins, Dixon with 3, Ericsson with 1 on the Ganassi side. From Penske's camp, you had Joseph with 4, and you had McLaughlin with 1. Those 2 teams really dominated this season, and they dominated the championship standings as well.
You know, you're not wrong.
Celebrate well, guys. You have earned it. And folks, thank you for your viewing and your support all season long, whether it be on NBC, USA, or here on Peacock. It has been a fun season. We have a very dedicated and passionate and committed production team that bring you all of the images and interviews and sights and sounds and wonderful things. I want to say thanks to them. And as we say farewell from WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, enjoy the off-season. The schedule should be out for 2024 in the coming weeks. Have a great fall and winter. We will see you back next year. On behalf of everybody who is here today and on our on-air team, Dylan Welsh, Kevin Lee, Marty Snyder, James Hinchcliffe, Townsend Bell, this is Lee Diffie saying take care, enjoy the off-season. We'll see you next year. But first, let's enjoy what a great year it was. Ready to go for a new racing season.
Huge accident.
More damage in the back. The track is total chaos.
Inches between cars at 200+ miles an hour.
They almost hit.
Oh!
Kyle Kirkwood is your race winner.
You just won the Long Beach Grand Prix, buddy. Way to go. Let's go, Ron.
Oh, inside. Scott McLaughlin wins. Let's kick off the month of May here at Indianapolis.
They fan out 5 wide.
This is the Indianapolis 500. Oh, no.
Bring her home, buddy.
Joseph Newgarden finally wins.
Finally.
I started out as a fan in the crowd. In this place, it's amazing.
Hello, Palou. Alex Palou wins back-to-back races.
Race around. Let's go.
Christian Lundgaard is an IndyCar race winner.
Guys, what did we just do?
Joseph Newgarden is dominating the oval competition this season.
Hey, you like that?
Kyle Kirkwood wins in Nashville.
Winner, winner. Nashville hot chicken dinner, buddy.
Scott Dixon wins back-to-back.
That was awesome.
Alex Palou is an NTT IndyCar Series champion.
Race winner and IndyCar champion. Yes! I love that.
Dixon finishes off the season with another victory.
Nice work, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 NTT IndyCar